right. Let's see. We are feeding out to the people. And you guys already know this. You know I'm going to show you guns, but, you know, I got 100 mags, 100 clips, because I'm from New York. Or you can start complaining to me. That's the name of the lyrics. But we can hold shooters. That's why we do this. I've got some worse things I could say in that same rhyme. But I'm not going to do it right now. I'll say it later. There you go. We can hold shooters. That's why we're on Utreon. If you want to join us live, you have to go to Utreon, Utreon/Who Moved My Freedom, or WMMF podcast. For the people that are listening on audio, this is my build that was built from a Liberty Suppressors Leonidas Titanium 300 Blackout integrally suppressed upper. And it's built on a polymer upper and lower and all kinds of badassery that you guys will get to see here later. So, if you're watching this, you know, later on when we put it up on YouTube, you got to come over to the Utreons in order to catch us. If you're listening to the audio and you want to join us live, that's where you go. All right, here, let me, okay, there we go. We got Joanna in there. And are you ready, Miss Thing?
I am.
All right, let me hit the open. Let's do this.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation, Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded.
We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Franklin Armory. Franklin Armory provides 100% US-made firearms and awesome binary option triggers. Their focus and purpose is to provide freedom tools to all Americans, especially those in not-so-free states. So when you're in the market, please consider Franklin Armory. Yeah, you know what, Joanna? I was trying to find the last time that this crazy old coot that is president was talking about how we're going to need AR-15. No, what was it? He was
F-15s, like, F-15s.
F-15s, yeah. The last time he said that, I did this thing with me and some kind of fighter jet. I can't find that damn thing. I was looking for it. Can't find it. Anyway, we are live. Let's do the jazz hands. Get the jazz hands going there. There you go. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on out there. This is episode 936 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Hank Strange, and my guest tonight is Joanna of Latina Locked and Loaded. There she goes. And the title is Shocker, Joe Biden Hates the Second Amendment. What? You're shocked at that. I know. I can tell from the look on your face. You are surprised that he said that.
Totally. No.
Right. No, you're not. You're not. What's up? What's been going on?
Not much. Just a lot of life changes. Good stuff happening. For the better.
Staying busy.
So, staying very busy.
Yeah. How's the habanero?
He's good.
He's good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is he mad? Is he mad?
Why?
Is he... Oh, okay. I thought, he gets it. The last time he was on, he was so excited. Rolando. I don't think I said like 10 words. Me. Rolando was just gone. And I was like, oh boy.
That's him like 99% of the day. That's why I'm so quiet. Like, they say, Beth from USCCA is one of my best friends, and I'm very open about that. Hello, Beth, if you're out there. So she actually texted me during our last podcast, and which was not this week because we were doing something for Geeks and Gamers this weekend. So previous weekend, we did our show, and she texted me in the middle of the show, hey, are you a cardboard cutout this weekend? And I'm like, why? She's like, because Rolando's doing all the talking. And it's not that I'm quiet. It's just that, when you live like with someone that loud and that passionate, you just like, just learn to just.
I'm very shy, as a man, as a husband. I'm very shy. I don't talk that much. I always let Lola say everything that she needs to say. And I always wait and check twice. No, I don't. I'm just as bad. Lola can't get a word in edgewise with me.
But a lot of the things that you guys are talking about, you have to own, like, you only have certain venues or avenues that you can express those feelings. Like, he's basically waiting from like 9 to 5 for me to finish, like, hang up my, my laptop, my MacBook for the day. And the second I like leave my home office, it's like, he's been waiting all day to tell me what's been going on in the world of politics and whatnot. And I'm just like, whoa. So it's not like he can just, call up the average person. We live in a blue county down here in South Florida. So
It's not
Where
just that. All dudes, I'm like that. Lola used to talk to me on the way to work. She don't do it anymore. I think by the time she gets there, she feels like tired. She used to do it, and now she doesn't. I notice she doesn't do it. She's just,
yeah.
I love you. I'm out.
Yeah. With
Yeah.
Rolo, he doesn't. I love you, Rolo, if you're listening.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even respect. Like, I'm always like, I love reading on my tablet, so I'm like
Mm-hmm.
reading some book, and he clearly I'm reading, and then it's like
Mm-hmm.
he's watching some political thing, and he's just like punctuating my reading. I'm like, I can't get past the page without having to look up and have a conversation about whatever's going on. So I'm just used to
Yeah.
it at this point.
Right. It was interesting. Lola says, "What did I hear? Shy?" Yeah. Okay. And 42 Jill says his rants are epic. Yours too, Jill. So there you go. Shout out to everyone out there. It was funny. I had a good time, but he was just going. He was just mad. FBI raid had just happened. He just started and he just kept going. And I was like, it I'm just over there like waiting, uh, you know. And it was funny to me. I was just laughing to myself the whole way. I was like, oh, this is what it's like to have to deal with me. Me and Rolando cannot be married.
No, I was gonna say we should like do a little experiment and put you guys together for like a couple days and see what happens.
I think we would explode, man. We would just die. You can't have that much intensity.
You would have to be like, let's go out to the range just to shut him up because you can't hear, like just put on some ear pro and just take him to the range
Yeah. No.
to get some peace.
Yeah, I think opposites attract, but when you get going too. So I don't know
Yeah.
which Joanna did we get? Do we get demure and quiet and very reserved, or do we get mad?
I'm not particular. I'm somewhere in the middle. Today.
Okay.
The problem is it's just a constant. Like if you follow the news cycles, it's just a
Mm-hmm.
constant barrage of badness happening every week. I think a couple weeks ago we were on the FBI list of domestic terrorists. If you freaking do normal things or have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
How many times now have they said that people who are Magites? I don't identify as a Magite,
Mm-hmm.
but I still identify as
Is that a word?
semi-conservative.
Is
A
that
Magaite, a Magaite, I
Yeah.
should say. I
What,
made it up. I
what,
coined
what,
it.
yeah, what the hell's the definition of that? I don't think I fall into that. I'm not a Trump forever kind of person.
No,
I'm not Trump till I die or any of that.
no.
So,
I'm definitely gonna say I prefer Trump to Biden for sure,
oh yeah,
or anybody on that
right.
side of the progressive, strip your rights thing. And I think it's hilarious that they're so blinded, I think, by the social media that is like the fake majority. Like if you go on Twitter, you get like assaulted by all this like left wing crap, right? And you're just
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, this country's going to crap. And then you go out into the real world and you like talk to normal people and you realize their politicians are completely disconnected from what's going on in this country. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that one of my best friends who voted for Biden, in fact, that was actually a point of um, headbutting
Mm-hmm.
because right around the summer of love she started showing some interest in guns after being anti-gun for 15 years that I knew her.
Mm-hmm.
Summer of love caused a lot of people to be new gun owners because they were feeling scared, because rightly so, you saw riots happening, fiery but peaceful protests everywhere. And then you turn around and see also people like the VP to be saying, oh, let's give funds to bail these people out. And all these people who did, practically some of them did do murder. They murdered and manslaughtered and beat little old men and on with 2x4s. Like, there
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of trauma
Mm-hmm.
to this country, who like the normal people are watching like, holy crap, what's going on? So of course you're going to feel like, on top of that, you're basically saying get rid of the police.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you expect people to feel? So they're very disconnected, in my opinion, when they feel like that didn't happen, and that's not like that happened, and that's not going to change how the normal people who did vote for you are going
Mm-hmm.
to act in the future. That's why I think there's a disconnect. um you know, it blew my mind because ever since I changed careers, I used to work with my best friend, and not Beth, another best friend. And,
Mm-hmm.
I touched base with her and we're just chatting on the phone. And she's like, yeah, she's been like on the fence about moving out of Florida. And this is someone, again, who voted for Biden, used to be anti gun, got her first gun. She got a Hellcat, um, you know, in 2020 ish, 2021. And I call her up to see how she's doing, and she goes, yeah, and she's been on the fence about moving, and she keeps changing her states. And I say, what's the new state that you're thinking of now? And she goes, I'm thinking about Georgia because they have constitutional carry there, so I don't need to get my concealed carry. And I'm just like, what? What dimension that I fall into?
Yes, and also get your concealed carry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, don't make
both,
that.
but...
Don't make that your thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But
right,
I think
right.
that's crazy. Like, this is someone who still identifies as a Democrat, is saying stuff like, I'm going to move to Georgia because I'm less oppressed. My Second Amendment is less oppressed. So that's why, like, we say that the Second Amendment shouldn't be political, and it really shouldn't, because it's part of our founding papers.
It's part of the Constitution.
Yeah.
It's it's an enumerated right that we have. That's also a right that we're born with. Just as like you said, being people, being alive.
Yeah.
Being any kind of creature.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, every animal should have the right to defend themselves. Otherwise, like, what are you gonna, if you look at the circle of life, what happens to the weak ones? You fucking die. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have to, if you want to survive, you want to protect your people, your family, you do what you have to do to be, you know.
When American presidents threaten you with F-15s, this is why.
Well, no, he didn't threaten us with F-15s. I think they threatened us with nuclear. I think at one time when he said that same thing, because he said it multiple times, he actually did say something like, our country has nuclear weapons, what are you going to do? So I'm like, did you just say that you're going to nuke your own people? Like, wow. So that's where I think there's also a disconnect.
I think his line in the, I don't know if, I think Lola sent it to you. His line was something, I would have to go read the transcript, but he was like, these quote unquote brave Second Amendment supporters, they're going to need F-15s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I take that as a threat. That's a threat.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And, the fact that this is a constant point of just pisses me off is that they've turned, believing in your constitutional rights into something dirty. And I think that's intentional. That's a, stigma that they've created. There's already been a stigma, okay? There's already been a stigma about being a gun owner. People are scared. They made the AR-15 something scary. And then when you actually look at articles about, asking women once they've actually tried the AR-15, it's one of the most preferred firearms for home defense because it's easier to utilize. Yes, if it's size-wise, if you get something, lightweight and that you can handle and you practice with and you know how to operate, you know what? It's going to make you feel really safe for home defense and make you kind of like, sway the odds of something, happening and you coming out okay in the end. So women understand that once they see the platforms, they're like, yeah, this is great. So to me, again, it's just, you're taking something that shouldn't have that stigma. It already has. We already struggle with that, and making it even dirtier and making something, someone who's just a patriot, the word even patriot itself, it's like, I love my country. The flag's behind me. The fact that the American flag, not even like the don't tread on me flag, just the flag itself triggers people and is something dirty that's, terrorist. And I'm like, no, that's our freaking flag. There's something wrong with you, not me. If you feel that a flag is a trigger and is racist and is all these things, I'm like, no, that just, especially coming at, I think we've had this conversation because, my family comes from other countries. So I think when you are an immigrant, you just come into this like, wow, I'm in this amazing country. I've gotten all these opportunities. This is amazing. If I lived, where my parents were born, I wouldn't have these opportunities. So to me, it's like so disgusting and disrespectful when people disrespect my flag. And I know it's so cliche to say like, get the F out of my country then if you don't appreciate it. But at the same time, it's like you have to understand where people are coming from. We're so grateful to be here and we're so appreciative. So it's very disrespectful of people like me and anyone else who came to this country, Venezuelans, Cubans, whoever, for someone to disparage, the flag and this country.
Mm-hmm. I think it's I think it's just an effort to belittle people. It's what you do with your enemies, right? Basically, these guys see us as the enemy. Biden sees folks like us as the enemy, and you belittle people. You make to the folks on your side so they can go out and do bad things. To the folks on our side, right? People on his side, to go and get people on our side, he has to take away our humanity. At the same time that folks on that side want to be proud of everything. Okay, go ahead. Be proud of it. That's awesome. But when we're proud of our shit over at our side, that we're proud of who we are, of our country, of whatever it is that we're proud of, that's not okay. So you have to dehumanize people in order to convince the folks on your side to take them apart. That's just what's happening there. That's really what it's about. Burning or whittling people down to this little thing. How,
Yeah.
This is, we're never going to see this end. This kind of stuff I think they do because they want to see bad things happen and they want to incite people to do bad things.
Absolutely. I was telling Rolo that I feel like this is, like you said, it felt like a threat, and it definitely felt like we get accused on the gun side or the conservative side, if you want to consider us conservatives, because again, it's not political. I'm definitely like, when people get to know like the other side of like what I believe in, they're like, oh, you're not a typical conservative. I'm like, because I'm not. I grew up as a Democrat. I grew up as a liberal, and my history. I was, as a kid, as a teenager, I was an animal rights activist, which just blows people's mind. It's like, but you're friends with hunters and all these people now. It's like, yeah, because I've always been open-minded, and I've never felt like I need to push my beliefs on anyone. So I was an animal rights activist in the sense that that's what I believed. And, I tried to, with love and kind of just explaining how like certain aspects of that was really cruel. Like, I was never that person who threw pain and was nasty and called humans who ate meat, like, what do they call them in the community, like corpse munchers or anything like that. Like, that's never my approach.
There's lots of vegetarian gun. I think it's, the worst thing that we do is put people just in one box or one bucket.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're lots of different circles that cross.
Yeah.
Right? And we change. We change and we evolve and we adapt. I would also say at the same time, I think that people are born kind of, in a zone of who they are. Mm-hmm. And they do change and adapt and move around those things, but they don't very typically move far away from what they are. So
yeah, I would agree. I would say that just because someone grows up as a liberal doesn't mean that that's really what they truly believe in your heart. Like, I think the first time I became at least fiscally conservative was when I went and joined the workforce, which was really early on for me. My family has always been very humble family and very conservative fiscally, and it's really weird to me, like, to think that they think that they're Democrats and they vote Democrat. I'm like, you really aren't, because of the way you feel towards money and the other aspects. It's like they're closet conservatives and they just don't realize it, but they're convinced that they're Democrats. It's hilarious. But the first time I went out and paid taxes, I was like, holy crap, that sucks. And then I started looking at like, I just got a raise, and I'm so excited about my raise, and I'm like, all right,
congratulations.
First thing I did was thank you. So then I was like,
buy me something nice.
I will. I bought Rolando something nice. I don't know if he talked about it. I don't know.
No.
He actually he bought himself a Maverick 2, 3. I'm really bad at this stuff. He bought himself a drone.
Oh, the DJI?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, nice.
So
okay.
As soon as he knew that I got this new gig, and he was like,
oh, did he thought? You know what? He might have talked about that. I don't know, man.
He might have.
He was hitting a lot of subjects. So don't ask me to remember. I don't remember yesterday. So
yeah.
No, but that's cool. Yeah, the DJI's got some pretty badass stuff out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward. He has already we went to Orlando and went to Tampa, and we took he's got a whole bunch of new cameras, and we actually just put together a video for, we're in part of Geeks and Gamers. So now we're like moonlighting as part of one of their other channels.
That's a big posse.
It
you guys
is.
are rolling
It is.
with. Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Rolo's a huge roller coaster guy. So he was like, oh, we're going to all the parks. We're gonna do a video for Park Hopping, which is one of their other channels. So like, he's trying to justify to me all these like accessories and cameras. He's like, look what I can do. So I'm not gonna get mad at him about it. He's he made a really cool compilation video.
I mean, he's not. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, are they really gonna let him run all that stuff in the parks? I don't know.
Well, there's lots of rules. So he got a oh my god, something Insta 360. I forgot.
Okay.
It's a little tiny like pill-sized camera, and he can wear it on his hat. And he took basically.
And then you can move around in almost in 3D or 360. Yeah.
Yeah. So he rode that while he was on all the roller coasters, and put together. We edited a video, and then you can get, as long as you're not in the park. So like we went to SeaWorld and our hotel was like across the street from SeaWorld. So like we launched the drone above and zoomed in, so it looks like you're floating over Mako. So that was pretty cool. So
Okay, yeah.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
he's using it.
yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I used to be into drones and everything until they started the whole licensing thing, and then I was like,
Yeah.
screw that, and I got out of it because I think that's just nonsense. But I look at a lot of drone footage of like Tesla, for example. I look at sometimes they'll take out the Cybertrucks and drive them around, and I'll look at that footage because I'm desperately waiting for the Cybertruck to come out. But
You got a ETA on that?
they're dudes. I don't think Cybertruck is coming out until we're gonna see a couple at the end of next year.
Okay.
So they're setting up right now to build, and they are testing them. Probably in the next segment, somewhere here I had a picture of them out testing it, but it's gonna be a while.
I'm pretty sure my siblings are into Tesla, so they've gone through pretty much like every model of Tesla. And of course, I've gotten to drive them, but I'm pretty sure that
So
they're...
check this out. This is them
Yeah.
like bringing one back
Cool.
from testing it somewhere. They must have been driving that around rough. See, it's got
Yeah,
sensors on it.
it looks like it's got a dent on the side of the door.
No, it's just dirty.
Okay.
Looks like it's just dirty and all that. They must have really gone through the mud and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna happen. A lot of people think it's not gonna happen. It's gonna happen, but it's there's not a lot of vehicles, if any vehicles, that have ever been built the way they plan on building that. So
Off-road EV, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, let's take the break. We'll be back. Walther Arms has been making concealed carry handguns for over 90 years, starting with the PPK. Today, Walther is based in the good old US of A and still builds quality firearms like the PPQ and PDP for personal defense and competition. So when you're in the market, please consider Walther Arms. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Walther Arms. Yeah, so, what I was going to say about the Cybertruck is that there's other electric pickup trucks out there already. There's the Ford Lightning F-150. Rivian has a electric pickup truck out there, and then there's the Hummer EV. But, so the Hummer EV and the Ford F-150, actually, I'm going to say the F-150 is just built on the same platform as regular F-150s are built on. So the Lightning is built on the same kind of thing. They just put electric motors in there. The Hummer EV, I would say, is kind of different. But I don't know. I think they were developing that for a little while more than we actually know. But they're really not building those. I think they're pretty much right now putting those together by hand. Rivian built their electric pickup truck from scratch. And I think it's cool, but what Tesla's going to do with the Cybertruck is completely different. So, for example, that exoskeleton of that truck is going to be built in one piece. It's going into a gigapress, and it's going to come out as one piece. That's why it's going to be really strong. So, not everything is going to be made like that, but Tesla's already building electric cars like that. So what would have taken 70 pieces on the back end of a Model Y, let's say, is made by a gigapress. So instead of having to take 70 pieces and weld them and bolt them together, they can, basically just, put that in a die press and then come out with one part there. So doing all of that and making these massive, what they call gigapresses and everything, and then figuring out all of that in order to manufacture it is just not easy.
Here's a question for you. If you get let's say someone clips you or something, right? And driving, are you hosed? Do you have to get the whole thing then redone since it's all one piece?
Well, I'm talking about the exoskeleton. So it's not
Okay, the inside, not the outside.
Well, no, the way they're gonna build. Let me throw this back up here.
Exoskeleton's outside though. So you're saying that brace, is it gonna have something on top of it?
So you see the basic shape of the Cybertruck? That's now not the body panels, not right there.
Okay.
But the basic frame of this shape on the outside, that's gonna come in one piece.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So that's a big one piece. The whole
Yeah, it
thing's
is.
not just going to be stamped out like a, like a Hot Wheels toy, but a lot of parts are going to come like that. And so, are you susceptible to damage? Yes, you're gonna be. Even with a Tesla now, you get into some damage. Your
It's
whole
gonna
thing,
cost you.
yeah, it's gonna cost you, or your whole thing could be totaled. Lots of cars now. All these new cars, you get one hit, and they're like, that's it.
Crumple.
Yeah,
But
the
they're
other.
supposed to be safer than like I think my one of the cars that my family had was this big Jeep, and it was tricked out, and you had like
Mhm.
they replaced the fenders or with the bumpers or whatever with these like hard metal things. So somebody rear-ended the lifted Rubicon that they had, and my
Mhm.
brother-in-law gets out of the car, looks at his bumper. There's not a scratch on it. The other car is
Mhm.
like a pretzel that just got smushed,
Mhm.
and he just was like, and got back in the car and drove away because he was at a
Yeah.
red light and he was like, UK. He checked the guy, he was fine. The other guy's car totaled. The Jeep, not a scratch. But, at the
Uh
same
huh.
time, like that sounds great, but it's supposed to be, if you look at like the physics of, car,
Mhm.
they're meant to be, crumple because the person inside is supposed to, it's supposed to take all the impact. The person inside doesn't, get killed.
Yes, the cars nowadays.
Yes.
That's how they're making them. But what's happening is a lot of cars nowadays, if you get a enough of a hit, they total that car.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that out the other day when it comes to the Sprinter vans, like the Mercedes vans. If you get into an accident with those and they consider something happened to the chassis, in the past you could stretch a chassis and do all this stuff and fix it. No.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes considers that totaled.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, because these guys were telling me like that they just sold a brand new one to a guy. He got into an accident, and the insurance company was like, "Nope, that's done, totaled." So, but it's all the tech. It's all the tech that we're dealing with. So, I think the Cybertruck is supposed to be tougher. It's supposed to be bulletproof to a certain extent. Like a 9mm and stuff like that. I don't think it could take AK rounds, 30 cal stuff. But it's supposed to have a level of bulletproofness and toughness and
They
all
should
of
use it as a
that.
selling point in Chicago.
Yeah, don't live in Chicago. That's my advice to you. You don't have to wait for a Cybertruck. Don't live there. I was actually looking at on Vlad TV. I saw Tony Yayo. For anyone who's into hip hop like me, he was one of the G Unit guys. Remember
Hmm.
G Unit? Tony Yayo said that he's waiting for a Cybertruck because of that. Because of the
Because of
bulletproof.
that,
Yeah,
that's a
Vlad too. These
I mean,
dudes.
to me, that's a good selling point, especially where you live. It's like we're living in a crazy world,
Yeah.
Cybertruck might
But
not just
they,
be cool.
yeah, but they have armored vehicles. These guys roll around in armored vehicles. So they are, there's already armored vehicles out there. They're expensive. You know.
Yeah, I used to have a patient back in my healthcare days who
Mhm.
I don't know what company because he wouldn't tell me what he was, like where he
Mhm.
worked, but he's like, so I always like strike up conversations with strangers, and
Mhm.
I'm like, so what do you do, man? And he's like, well, I'm a government contractor. I have a company that makes armored vehicles for the government. I'm like, that is so cool.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I wish he told me more details. But
Have you
yeah,
ever, have you ever seen has Rolando shown you the Resvani?
no.
The Resvani tank. Did you what was it? Terminal List? Did you see Terminal List?
Yes, 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 yes.
All right, cool. So then you saw it. That's what
Yes, I
that
did.
truck
Okay,
was.
that's it. Okay,
I'm
cool, cool.
surprised, Rolando. I gotta talk to him, man. He's not maximizing his opportunities. When he saw that, the first thing he should have done was shown you, like, listen, honey, you're making lots of money now. I want this truck. Then I will be able to roll around in style and bulletproofness. So there
I
you
don't know.
go.
He's pretty obsessed
I
with
don't.
cameras right now,
I
so
don't
that's what
know.
he's like buttering me up for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't
Not
know
cars.
exactly. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but it looks good. But it was in the terminal list, if you
Is it good
remember.
off road? Besides, yeah, that was a great.
Oh, I don't know. I've seen them. I've seen these things at like SEMA show and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But as you know, if you looked at that, that didn't save that guy's ass from
It
from
did
Chris.
not.
It didn't save him from Chris Pratt.
Nope.
There's always people want to get you. They will get you.
Yeah.
You know. Sometimes it's better to just go fast. You know. But yeah, I like those kinds of things. I get crazy about that stuff. You know. I don't know how. I think Rolando's into cars. He's a car
Yeah,
guy.
he's into cars. He's
Yeah.
right now. He's trying to. He's already like he's very smart about how he does things. Like he
Hmm.
starts planting these little seeds like well ahead of time. Like, he's been talking about this freaking drone for like months, like
Mm-hmm.
well before he actually sprung and was like, I'm buying it. And he's just like, I happen to be in Best Buy. I'm gonna buy it right now. It's on sale. Like, what do you say to that? It's like, okay. So,
Okay, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
the old "it's on sale." We'll
It's on
never get
sale. I'm
we'll
like,
never get
sure,
a
whatever.
good a price as this ever.
It's a one-time opportunity. I have to do it right now.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
Yeah.
man.
Right.
But yeah, he started like months ago, like putting his little seeds about how great it was. He's like in the living room right now, like probably like has got 2 monitors. One's watching this, one's the other one's watching. Right now he's into FPV drones, so he just got this one. Now he switched from watching Maverick videos to watching FPV drones, first person view,
yeah,
he's like, oh, this would be great.
Yeah, DJI put out a really badass one recently.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they
I'm
did.
just waiting for him to be like, I'm gonna get a call in a couple weeks. He's like, I'm at Best Buy. There's another sale. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm just waiting for it. So, but he's
Yeah.
been doing that.
For people who don't know, this is literally
Yeah.
that the drones now come with like a headset. It makes you look like a transformer, like a robot, and you put it on your head, and I think you have like some kind of stick or something.
It's you still have like you still have a like a joy. What do you call that? Like a controller.
Some
almost.
kind of controller, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're basically, you feel like you're actually flying that thing through wherever you're going with it. And the new one is crazy. The blades have guards on it. If it falls on its back, it could flip itself over. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You
I
should
think they call it
definitely
turbo mode.
let him get it. You should definitely.
We'll
I think-
see. I told him he's not allowed to, like, I'm like, well, think about it next year. I'm like,
Just imagine the videos that he could make of you shooting and doing all kinds of
yeah,
badass
well, that
shit
was one
with
of the selling points. He's like, no, we could take these to the range. It's gonna be great. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust me, he's good. He's good. Until he winds up like in a dealership trying to buy a $250,000 car.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
not-
saying. I'm like,
and he didn't
it's not
discuss that
bad.
with you. Yeah, yeah. If you
He
know,
always talks about it beforehand, so at least I know. It's just like when it happens, it's gonna just like, there's a sale going on. Sure.
no. Lola, I've added some of Lola's gray hairs, like within literally seconds. Like, oh, I just came in this dealership. You're not gonna believe what kind of car is over here. You know. So, and then I'm so obsessive about stuff. She's like, oh my god. You know, when I had this R8 and then Audi bought it back from me, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm over. I'm just gonna get just an average Audi. I'll just drive that around. So she was like, okay, this is cool. I leased a car, right? It was an Audi RS5. It was nice. I don't know if anyone ever saw that. I haven't had it for a little while. Every single day, this is what drove Lola crazy. Anywhere that I went to, I stopped at like Dollar General's or Walmart, anywhere that sold Hot Wheels, and I kept buying just one kind of Hot Wheels car, R8. If I saw an R8, I'd buy like 20 of them, and she's like, what's happening? Why did you buy 20 of these things? I was like, I don't know. I saw it there, and I didn't want anyone else. And I just
Did you at least get them in different colors?
Yeah, it was different colors, it was all kinds of stuff. But it was driving her crazy. She's like, what is your problem exactly? How many of these things do you have to have until you get it out of your system? So I did that to her until one day I saw a used Audi R8. And she was like, you know what? Just do whatever you have to do. So, yeah. It could be worse, Joanna. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, that's why I'm not
could be
complaining. It sounds like I'm
Yeah.
complaining. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have Rolando. He's an amazing husband.
Yeah.
And all these investments always work out. You know, like I said, you know, when I first saw him setting up, buying all this AV equipment for the streams, I'm like, why do we need all this? We're not a professional show. It's just a little podcast. And he's like, this is going to elevate our show. And everything
Yeah.
he's bought, which I've criticized, has led to bigger and better things. So I'm not going to criticize him anymore. The guy knows what he's talking about. So
Yeah, Lola says lots of gray hairs. Let me just say this to you, because no one says this to Lola, so I'm going to say this to you. Okay, you are a very fortunate woman. Yes, no one says that to Lola. They say to me how fortunate I am, but no one
You
ever
are.
says to Lola, you know, you're real lucky, Lola. No one ever says that. They always go, just blink rapidly, you know, if you're being held prisoner. Anyway, so here's the thing. Your husband is a nerd. Okay? Do you know how blessed you are to have a husband that's a nerd?
Listen, I've dated some dumb people, so that became a requirement for me.
Not,
Like,
not
I
just
need
that,
to.
but what kind of trouble could a nerd dude get into?
I mean,
He's
yeah, I
not.
guess you're right.
He's not gonna be taking crack.
Nope.
Okay, he's not gonna be smoking crack. He's not gonna be like messing around with like some street walking hookers. I'm serious.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's just gonna want some tech.
That's it. I'm okay with that. And
Yeah.
I knew that coming in. When
Right.
my first like Christmas gift he ever gave me like a million years ago when we first met was a an Xbox. I was like, what? I don't even play video games. He's like, oh, you will. And I'm like, okay. I was like, that's more of a gift for you. I'm like, thank you. So now at this point, I'm like, this is great. Like, yeah, it's all worked out.
Yeah, listen, think about it this way, man. All those women out there, I've seen these women over the years, right? I've seen them. They always want to go for like some kind of badass dude, you know? That's what they want. They want all the badass dudes or whatever. And then they're complaining to you that they don't see their guy. He's got a whole bunch of baby mamas. You know, he's in prison. He's this thing, he's that thing, or whatever. You know, guess what? That's what you wanted. Okay? No one looks at the nerdy guy and goes, oh yeah, this is the dude right here. You know?
I don't know.
So,
That's always been my type. I deviated from my type a couple times and it was bad. Like I dated like this, you know, bad mistake before Rolo, and that was ended very shortly. I was like, no, we're good. I need to go back to my type, and my type has always been, because I don't know. I disagree. I think Rolo's a badass in some ways. Like he's definitely, you know, like he's who got me into guns. I'll be realistic. Like
Yeah.
that was one of our first dates. He's like, you want to go to the range? This is an essential part of who I am. I'm like, all right, let's go. So
right.
like to me, he was the gateway drug that led me to like guns, and I think I always had
the coolest of nerds is the badass nerd that actually knows how to use guns.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. But he's a nerd. The overriding thing, this is not a diss to Rolo.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I mean, for
He's
God's sake,
good looking dude. He's a good looking guy. He's got a deep voice.
Yeah.
Right? But still, he's a nerd. I'm sorry. That's the overriding principle. He's squarely in the nerd category.
Absolutely.
Right.
But I mean, like, so am I. So it worked out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like we found like so many things that we like. You have to, when you're out there for the single people, you need to find someone, you know, guys and girls, find someone that you just like. Because I have tons of friends who like marry someone, and then they're like, you know, afterward they're like, all right, I'll see you later, and I'm like, you guys aren't spending time with each other. It's like, nah, he's gonna go play with his boys online, and I'm gonna, you know, just drink wine and watch the Real Housewives or whatever. I'm like, you guys don't have any hobbies in common. So to me, that's really weird because, you know, we both like I think our background, like that's why we mesh so well. We had a lot of things in common. We liked the same kind of music, not K-pop back then. We liked these alt rock bands.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's compared to those K-pop dudes, he's literally the Rock. If you want to compare him to those dudes in those K-pop bands.
No,
he comes out pretty good. I don't think you want to actually date any of those guys in those K-pop bands. Yeah, okay. No, yeah, okay. All right.
So, I mean, like, we would have, to me, it was just like, you just have to find somebody who has similar hobbies. And then, like, I wasn't into guns, but I always had you know, I always liked that stuff, like that genre of movie. And I'm like, always like, that's so cool. I would totally want to do that. And like, once I got into it, it's like, you know, I liked it. I mean, I always liked things like martial arts and stuff like that. So to me, it was a matter of time before I got into it. So
yeah, you're a nerdy chick too. I think he knows that. Yeah, that's why I always tell people that you and Rolando are very similar to Lola and I. Lola is a complete nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally a nerd. She's cool, but Lola is a nerd. She might not want to hear it, but she's a nerd. So there you go. You know, two nerds coming together, appreciating each other is a beautiful thing. Everybody else out there is looking at that like, oh, well, you know, how do you guys get along so much? Because you've got your differences, totally different things, but, you know, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not saying you have to be the same. Like,
yeah.
I actually I tried to make an attempt at being a car person. Like, I used to watch what was that show? Okay. I tried. Okay. I really did. I tried. I would watch that show with the British people. Oh, what was it called?
Top Gear?
Yeah, I used to watch Top Gear with him, and it was a
Uh-huh.
very entertaining show because I think the host Jeremy and whatever his name is
Mm-hmm.
were very funny, and the
You
little
mean
tiny
Sir Jeremy Clarkson? I don't think he's a
Sir
knight.
Jeremy Clarkson, yeah,
I don't
and
think.
the
I
little
don't
tiny
think. Oh, Richard Hammond? You mean Richard
yes,
the
little
hamster?
the hamster. Yeah, so I had a great time watching it. I think that when they actually like went, they changed the host is when I stopped watching it. But for a little while, it was like remembering things about the show, and like I remember I would like spout these little bits of knowledge about like the rear wheel axis, blah blah blah, and people would look at me like, "Wait, you're a car person?" I'm like, "No, I'm pretending. I'm really pretending really hard." So I felt like I was studying for a test. Like I'd sit there eating popcorn, like writing notes, and he's like, "What are you
Yeah.
doing?" I'm like, "I'm trying to be a car person." It didn't work out. I
No,
don't. care.
Lola just likes the scenery. That's what she likes about
Yeah.
those. They do, they've got really cool scenery in there. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's about it. Yeah.
I'll still watch those shows. I'll still get like entertained, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be like,
I
"Oh
mean,
my god!"
it doesn't have some
part.
pale, bony ass K-pop dudes walking around in it. I'm sorry. It doesn't.
I'm happy
Cruise
to
Man
report-
says the dudes in the K-pop bands are more likely to be into Rolo. Yeah. I agree with that.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of guys that have man crushes on Rolo because of his voice. So I don't know. I've been hearing that a lot in Geeks and Gamers chat. They'd be like, "Oh, Rolo and his deep voice." I'm like, "Dude, you're a dude. What's going on, man?" I mean,
dudes
like, hey,
are. I don't know. It's so crazy. It's something wrong with dudes. There's something. I believe that about Rolo, but Sam Andrews that I do videos with, it's the same thing. I do those videos. They get a lot of views, and guys are always on there telling me how they go to sleep listening to his voice. No thanks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, looking at like what's this guy's name, Grand Thumb. Like, there's so many like I have never seen. Again, that's your thing. Cool. Like if you're into dudes, do you, man. But like, I know some of these guys are straight. I know it because there's no way like 90% of his comments in chat is all like super gay. Like, "Oh, flannel daddy, yeah." I'm like, this is so weird.
I don't even look at that guy's video, so I can't even. I can't even. But yes, I think if you want me to break down the psychology of what's going on there, after we take this break, I'll break it down for you if you want to know.
Okay.
All right, let's take this break. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like High Point Firearms and Full Forge Gear, bags and gear for everyday life. Did you know High Point is an American family-owned and operated company located in Ohio with over 30 years of manufacturing experience? High Point is proud to be the home of the working man's gun and your source for affordable handguns and carbines with a lifetime warranty. So when you're in the market, please consider High Point. Yeah, one of the things I would tell you, because it drives Lola crazy, and this is why you see this in a lot of things out there. Believe it or not, guys like a lot of gay jokes. I don't know. Yep.
I see that all the time. Like with our in Geeks and Gamers, we have something called Premium, which is like you pay to like do special content or whatever. So that's actually how I started out as a fan. Like I really enjoyed watching the streams, and then I was like, I'd like to like play with these guys. So I like became a premium member, and I jumped in, and like I was like shocked at all the gay jokes, and I'm like super straight people, and I'm like, what is your obsession with all these gay jokes? And it's just like,
guys, I just
think it's a guy thing at this point.
Dudes. Yeah, I don't get into that until I'm around dudes.
Yeah, I don't get it, and they don't care that I'm in there listening, and I'm like,
if there's more than two dudes hanging out,
there will be gay jokes.
There's gonna be gay jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not anti, like, if anyone's out there being like, "Oh, they're bigots," it's like, no, it's like they're saying stuff like that makes you like really like, are they what?
No, God, you know what it is? Okay, so first of all, Lola always says, well, there must be some element of that. So yes, if you have 10 dudes in a room and there's a bunch of gay jokes going on, at least one or two of those dudes are gay. Okay?
You think so?
Let's just start from that point of view, okay? They're gay, bisexual, whatever. That's their thing, all right? Typically, the guys who go out of their way to be super macho, that's what's going on with them.
Hey, like I said, do your thing, man. I don't
care. There's a lot of that. Yeah, there's a lot of that super macho thing going on. But guys like to play chicken with each other in terms of they want. Oh, so you want to be gross?
How gay can you go?
Yeah, do you want to be gross? You want to talk about gross? There's I'll give you an example. Have you ever heard of the Venture Brothers? Are you into the Venture
Yes, I was a huge fan. That's so
Brothers?
crazy.
Yeah. The Venture Brothers cartoon. I've been obsessed with that for like the last couple of weeks. While I've
Really?
watched that whole, yeah, it's on HBO.
Oh,
So
it used to be a part of Adult Swim. I've
yeah,
been like a fan for like years,
yeah.
and I just stopped right around the cloning season
Oh,
because it was like
it's
I couldn't. Yeah.
okay. You should get back into it. It's on HBO now.
Wow.
Because HBO has a whole bunch of things, including Adult Swim and all that, right?
Okay.
So there's 7 seasons on there,
Hmm.
and there is a lot of gay stuff in there. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
yeah. The creators of that and the artists doing that have their own different things going on there. But there's a lot of what we're talking about in this. But
Hmm.
there's this one scene that I was looking at the other night when I think it's Brock Sampson
Brooke
and
Sampson,
yeah. Oh, you could do the what's her name?
the girl who's
The
has a
Russian.
relationship.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Russian. What's I want to say Anna Topovich, but it's something else
it's
like
not
that.
Anna Topovich.
Uh,
That's from
no,
GoldenEye.
it's something cocktease.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
gotta
anyway,
look this up.
Brock Sampson and his, he has a commander. He has this
Hmm.
guy that was like his commander, and this is the guy who like became a woman, like
Hmm.
actually had his, had boobs.
Molotov,
Molotov
Molotov
cocktease, Molotov
cocktease. Yeah.
cocktease. Yeah, yeah, that's a cool character. But
Hmm.
so yeah, his commander actually like had boobies and got rid of his schlong and everything
Hmm. I
for
remember
a
that.
minute in the series, and then went all the way like went became a woman, then became a dude again. You guys can say whatever you want to. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. So anyway, they're on some kind of mission, and they're in an aircraft or something that they took out. They went while they were on this mission. They went to a strip club. So they're
Hmm.
coming back from the strip club in an aircraft, and they're talking about the sad boobies on a stripper in this thing. And this is like a classic scene. They're just going on and on about the boobies on this stripper, like how sad they are. If anyone out there knows what I'm talking about, recognize this. So I'm looking at that show last night. After the show, I try to like unwind, and I need to look at stupid shit. I
Hmm.
have to look at the dumbest, craziest thing possible to wind my brain down.
I
And
love that show. Yeah.
huh? I didn't
I
think,
said I love that show. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
gonna totally like go back and catch up.
I didn't think that Lola was listening. So I'm looking at this, and they're like, man, her tits were so bad. It was so sad. Like, they're saying all these things. And Lola just started giggling. She's like, oh my God, what is happening? They were just going on. And this is dudes. We have to one up each other. When there's more than one dude hanging out, the competition to outgross, out one up each other, it gets hardcore. And this is where people who aren't secure in their manhood and all that kind of stuff, or who they are, they back off.
Hmm.
Like the minute you venture into the like gay categories, like gay jokes and stuff like that, there's a lot of dudes that back off. So this is what the challenge becomes. Like, oh, are you playing chicken with me? You think, this is how some people want to win this so bad. They just go in there, and it gets pretty gross if you're a wife or significant other.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Listening.
Like when I first heard that, like these,
Hmm.
but to me, it's like these guys have this huge camaraderie because they play video games every week together,
Hmm.
and it's like
Hmm.
they're not even with like the crew. It's like they become friends with each other because it's like
Hmm.
it's a small group of people who just show
Hmm.
up and play like Mario Kart every freaking week. So
Hmm.
it's like to me, it's like at first I was like, what is going on? But then I like realized that they're not trying to actually like insult each other. It's like a sign of affection
Hmm.
almost. So it was just like, okay, this is definitely a guy thing. So it's like I've never really spent time around. I mean, I have, but I've never really spent that much time around guys who were just like,
Hmm.
who didn't care that I was listening because that was
Hmm.
different. Like, I think I'm used to people like censoring themselves around me. So it was really cool when I like became part of that little group of people where I'm like, I
Hmm.
got to really experience, getting to a peek into guy culture
Yeah,
and
we're
how
nuts.
locker room talk.
Yeah, we're nuts. Armament and Axis says the best black jokes I ever heard was from a black guy I worked with. Yeah. Armament and Axis. People don't understand how black people talk to each other. I don't
Well,
think.
it's got to be like Hispanics. We do the same thing. We crack jokes about each other.
Right. Yeah. But then someone says that to us, racist,
Yeah.
racism. You don't even want to know like how like my parents. If man, people don't know, man. If I ever told people like how hardcore my parents were when it came to racism, and my dad's black, and my mom's was Indian, so yeah, lots of racism coming out of that. What is this? He also says worked with a Polish guy who told the best Polak jokes. Also, yep, that's how it is.
Not surprised. Yeah.
I used to work with this. I worked in a hospital, and there was an Australian. There's an Australian doctor there, and I think he was the anesthesiologist. Anesthesiologist,
You got it.
and whenever he came in there, and I at that hospital, I was just like a doorman,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked
An
in what they call
orderly.
a door. I was a doorman. That's how I started there as a doorman. It's a hospital on the Upper East Side,
Mm-hmm.
and
Were you the guy who like makes you like look at the ID and then give you a little sticker?
no, literally a doorman, like a New York doorman.
Oh, so you just open the door? That's it?
You ever saw New York movies where
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
pull up to like a hotel, there's a doorman and they open the
yeah.
door for you and they get you a cap? That was my job.
Okay.
But I worked inside of the security department, and then I also being a doorman, and I was a security guard, and then I was worked inside of the engineering department, which is like building maintenance, moving around the hospital. So my whole
Mhm.
time there, but at all of those jobs I did took me all over the hospital, moving around. Like I would take, there might be like a special patient or something, and all that kind of stuff. So, because New York doormen, uh, it, people in New York have a very special relationship with the doorman.
Mhm.
So this particular guy would always tell me sheep sex jokes, and he didn't give a crap who was listening. Okay, and he would see me outside and tell me those, and I'm just like, I'm going in, and there's people listening, like, what the hell, what's happening? Right before he's got someone there that he's about to put on there, going into surgery, and I run into him, he just starts telling me, and I'm just laughing. He's trying to gross me out, and I'm just laughing, and like, oh, that's a good one. And so and the other doctors are like, what's going on here? And he would just go until, because like dudes want you to get to the point where you're like, okay, no, I can't take it anymore, and you surrender. You have to surrender. And then that guy goes, I am the man. He had to walk away from me. So
So the
yeah.
funny thing is that I'm thinking here, I'm like, where would you like unless he's making them up, like that's back in before the internets was a thing. So
Yes, it was.
he
Well, he
probably
was
had
from
a
New Zealand, and so
okay.
people always say that about people from New Zealand.
They like sheep.
Yeah, so he was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go all in on that," and that was like his thing. D- don't try to think. Don't try to figure guys out. Yeah, we don't make any sense. We're totally crazy.
And they say
This
that
is
women are from Venus or whatever. I
yeah.
beg to differ. So
Yeah, I can't figure women out either. You know, but I could tell you that's what it is with us guys. That's what our problem is. We're trying to outdo. It's you know what? Gun guys are like that. Gun guys are
mhm.
like that. Look at the gun community. I always tell people this. I was talking to someone about it recently. The gun community, you can have $10 million worth of guns. All the gun guys are okay with that. The minute you have like anything else nice, hate you. You bastard.
Really? I didn't know that.
You're
Yeah.
supposed to be like a monk and only spend all your money on guns.
Yeah.
And so
Would you
that's fine.
would they get salty at Rolo for spending 2 G's on a plus on a drone instead of buying a nice gun?
I'm not gonna say like all gun guys are that like that, but I know gun guys who get in trouble with their audience if they have a Rolex on, or
Oh,
if
that's
people
weird.
know that they drive like a really nice car or a really expensive car or whatever, they get mad about it. And I'm always like, why you guys, or if they found out like this guy, it's just it's just a thing. But you can have all the guns in the world. The guy can literally be showing you a gun that is $100,000 gun, and you're happy.
Hmm.
And the gun folks out there feel like, yes, if you're, if that's about guns, it's all good. I mean, I've seen guys make gun videos that cost more than a Rolex. So then why be mad that someone has one on, but I see people doing that. So, you know.
Interesting. I wonder if they if that's like, I don't know if you watch Demo Ranch and Matt Carricker's stuff, but like he just had one that I watched where he's doing like a fake MTV Cribs kind of thing, going over his ridiculously expensive gun compound. But I mean, he does show like the guy's got to have like an insane amount of money invested in guns. Like he shows off this room that's just like wall to wall guns.
Yeah, I didn't look at that video, but I saw that it's out there. Yeah. You looked at it? How was it? It was good?
It was good. I enjoyed it. I'm old enough to remember MTV Cribs, and I thought it was hilarious. And definitely lots of gun porn for anybody who's into that stuff.
I mean, first of all, that dude's a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
he would have been well off. Like, I don't know a lot of people know this. He would have been well off even without Demo Ranch. And he's branched off into, like, he flips houses and has, like, that other YouTube channel that has nothing to do with guns now, because that actually makes more money than his gun stuff, which, like, makes tons of sense because YouTube doesn't like gun stuff, right?
Yeah,
so,
I think he always had Vet Ranch. He was always doing a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But
he's the owner. He's the owner of like a huge vet company and has a bunch of offices, and he doesn't even practice anymore.
Well, his success comes from what you talked about earlier, that he's one of the first male gun bunnies. So as a dude, that's people's attraction to him, and most of the audience is dudes. But he's just like, a lot of those folks are just looking at that kind of stuff to worship his awesomeness and his cuteness or whatever it is. There's some other guys that are gun dudes and don't have that, right? But he has like that rock and roll kind of thing, and when you get those kind of views, you're gonna make a ridiculous, a mega crap ton of money and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it's cool that he put some of it into guns. I think the thing that people get mad with him is they feel like he doesn't get political enough, and I think that might, that probably is what it is. But I think at the end of the day, he appeals to a lot of younger people, a lot of non-gun people, and so he's probably like a gateway drug, and not as aggressive as the other folks. That's another thing I think about the gun world. They feel like everyone out there has to be a super mega gun monk. You must only do guns and only bring guns to the people and only talk to people about guns. So I know I do that because I want to, and I'm passionate about that. So I spend a lot of time and I take a lot of blows and arrows and stuff like that, and I'm suppressed a lot for talking about politics and all that. But I don't think, it's not everyone's thing. Everyone doesn't want to talk about their politics, or everyone doesn't want to talk about their religion and those kinds of things. But Demo Ranch just he just puts this fun stuff out there. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not very serious. It's definitely not going to be a watch that, you're going to watch it and get something out of it. Like, it's not going to be like watching a political news breakdown, but it's definitely going to be like, let me have fun with guns. And anybody going in expecting any more than that, that's just not, like, that's a different category. And, I don't hate on him. Like, sometimes I get a little bit pissed, but at the same time, it's like, whatever. He's not. Also, it's like, who's actually watching this stuff? Okay, so to me, it's like, if you're trying to make inroads outside of, like the echo chamber or whatever. We've always talked about this, like this echo chamber or whatever. You really think that people who are anti-gun are watching Matt Carricker? I don't think so. So it's like, you got to figure out how to actually do real activism instead of just.
Is that his last name? I don't know what his last name is.
Yeah, Carricker.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've been a long time fan. I've watched him even before I was a gun person.
Yes, I know. If you like K-pop guys, you like him. That's what I just said to you. He's the cute rock and roll guy, right? I know you do. I know exactly. I know what pushes your buttons.
I'm not into Matt though. I'm like, there's something. Not my type. Not my type. But
I'm not saying that. It's easy. Look, here's the thing. Some people are more universal than other people, right? Some people are like, I'm an acquired taste. In the van world, for example.
Your Guinness. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. That's, a little bit bitter. A little tough to actually have to deal with. In the van world, I hear this all the time. The videos I make in the van world, I do it pretty much like this. I'm loud, boisterous, and all that. And one of the guys that I do videos with quite a lot runs a place that sells vans in Gainesville. And when him and I, so he does his own videos, right? He hires someone, is very professional, he does his thing, he's a sales guy, he points to that stuff. Why I don't believe in doing what other people do. I'm an artist, I'm creative, right? I have to put my own twist to whatever's happening. So when I do videos, we have fun, we talk about things, we make fun of each other. And I feel like most of the audience appreciates that. But every single video, there's people that come in there and complain, oh, you guys talk too much. It's too much horsing around, too much having fun. It's just like this. We're not, like, we could talk for hours and never really hit on guns. So it's, what I find is that most people out there want this kind of like whitewashed, and when I say that, I don't mean like in terms of race, but they kind of want the watered down,
Bare bones.
universal, like, oh, everybody can like him kind of thing. And then other people become an acquired taste that you have to somehow like someone like me or know someone like me, or not everyone's gonna dig it. That's just the way that it is. And with Demo Ranch, I think everyone can dig it.
It's wide appeal. Yeah.
Yeah,
the same thing. I think that I hear that a lot. And I've gone through like a rainbow of like emotions when it comes to our podcast. Most of it ends up with me being just, why did I start this? And it's not, I'm not trying to be anybody, out there. In fact, I'm a very private person. So to me, it's like a nightmare to like think about like people know my name. Oh, that's so scary. So, the real reason we ever started any of this was to, just talk about these things that people need to hear about.
Yeah.
And, I always hear this, oh, you guys are so great. I love the chemistry you guys have. I'm like, yeah, well, we're married. That happens. And, or like your show's great. So I just don't understand why it's not bigger and it doesn't have a bigger audience. And I'll be honest, I'm like, it's because, not everyone's going to want to sit here for 2 hours and listen to us rant about politics and how angry we are about it. It's definitely a niche, product. It's not going to be something that's going to widely appeal to anybody.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something that's going to shock you. Most of your audience is probably tuning in because they find you cute. Bottom line, you're a chick. They find you cute. I know. I think
it's Rolo. I really think it's Rolo.
There's those weirdo dudes out there, but there's more folks tuning in just because there's not a lot of women talking about this stuff, and most of the audience are dudes, and they want to look. As a guy, I want to look at women more than I do dudes. Do you see what I'm saying?
I can see that. No, I can see that. Because
we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
We're going to come back and expand. With Armslist, you can shop the extensive list of local and nationwide firearms classified, now with more confidence because of their built-in firewall. For only $6.99 a month for personal use or $30 a month for business vendors. So when you're in the market, please consider Armslist. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Armslist. Yeah, so Jen Champ Jr. says Rolo's pretty cute though.
Yeah, he is.
You guys can say whatever you want to. If Lola was doing what I'm doing, it would probably be bigger numbers. And this is nothing against you guys. I think that what you guys do should have a bigger audience. The problem is there are so many people that are on YouTube. The numbers on YouTube in terms of content creators, channels, videos that go up and all that are massive at this point, right? It's massive. I think you guys are exceptionally talented, and that's why the guys at Geeks and Gamers have recognized that. So it's just a matter of time before people really figure out the dynamics. I'm not saying any of this to take away from that. At the end of the day, though, the biggest part of the audience out there is dudes. Okay?
I mean, I'm not going to deny it because I see it when I look at the numbers of, like, for instance, in the Geeks and Gamers, like, crew, the girls tend to just, like, when they're doing their own thing on Twitch, it's like they pull these crazy numbers. And I'm like, it is what it is. It's like the fairer sex attracts more, maybe. And, like, I'm not hating on it. It's just, I'm just observing, like, a data thing. Like, oh, if like you got a dude and you got a girl streaming at the same time, and then I look at how many viewers they have, the girl's gonna have more. It's just what
Yeah.
it is. Like that's just
Because of
male
who
nature, I guess.
yeah, it's male nature. It's not a bad thing. I mean, people, there's folks out there who always say that that it's a man's world or whatever. At the end of the day, men want to see women. I'm sorry.
And then women are
This is just the way it
gonna
is.
be like go like I don't want to say we go both ways, but I'm just like for instance, like women appeal to women and then women appeal to men, so it's like men are hoes. I remember when there was some young, 2A he wanted to get into activism, or he started it and he would like had like 100 people watching his stuff or like following him or something, like low numbers, and he was just like, how do I get how do I get to become bigger? I'm like, bro, you're not gonna do it. Like I was just like, I never said that to him, but it's like because then I compared it to someone who started at the same time, who's someone who's now my friend, and she's very well endowed, if you know what I mean. And she blew up, like her numbers are like crazy high, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, like if you're a cute girl, you're just gonna have more success at it. And I have weird feelings about that. I do. Like sometimes I get mad, like I don't know, I'm weird, but I'm like, I want you to listen to what I'm saying, not because I'm cute or like whatever. Like sometimes I have weird, reactions to that because I'm one of those people where I'm like, I'm not gonna put on a skimpy outfit and hold a gun and to get bigger numbers. I refuse to do it. But I don't hate on women who do.
No.
I don't want to do that. So
Yeah, well, it's the dynamics.
I have weird feelings.
It's the dynamics of the thing. It's the dynamics of the thing. So, just naturally, this is how we are as guys. But there are certain things that, so for example, if a guy already has a chick, if he's not lonely or whatever, he's already got his chick. If he wants to spend time, with a woman, he's going to spend time, So this is how I am. If you go look at what I look at on YouTube, you're probably not going to see anything with women come up, right? That doesn't mean that I don't like. Of course I do, but I'm not thinking in that way. So I'm not going to look at everything like that, because if I'm looking at it for that reason, I get distracted. Right? As a guy, I'm easily distracted. So I'm going to look, if I want to get info out of these things, I'm going to look at it for the info and pull that out. Now, if I want to be entertained, then I'm going to look at different things. So, for example, if I'm telling you that I'm looking at these different cartoons and stuff like that, because in that moment, I want to be entertained. Right? So now I'm trying to pull a different thing out of this. And then especially when you're talking about, there's a lot of like old, dudes out there, I'm sure some of them are going to get mad. They're probably, out there now. But there's a lot of old, lonely dudes out there. So when they're looking at this stuff, they're going to tune in because they're like, oh, you know what? I wish I had a girlfriend like this that believed in this thing. Or I wish my wife was like that and didn't hate guns or whatever it is. We're aspirational as people. We try to look up to whatever it is that we're trying to be around, if that makes any sense.
No, it totally makes sense. And that's why I go back to the whole relationship thing. Like, I'm not saying, like, to go divorce your wife. Like, I'm not saying that by any means. Like, for those out there who are like, I wish my wife was like that. I just think for the people who are still single out there and they say that, like, I wish I had someone like you or who was like you. And, to them, it's like, I wasn't into guns when Rolo met me, but I think I was open-minded. I've always a very, very open-minded person. So if, I didn't like really roller coasters that much. I had just started getting into them in my mid-20s. I used to be scared, terrified of them, but I knew it was something super important to Rolo. So, I get over my fear and I go on a roller coaster with him, So
Makes
it's
sense.
like, you gotta just find someone who's open-minded enough to try stuff. And it goes both ways. It's not just like me changing myself for him. I mean, he sits there and watches like, hey, that new Blackpink video came out. We did this yesterday. This new K-pop video came out. This Blackpink video came out. Let's watch it.
He's more of a man than me.
And he'll like we do stuff for each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you make compromises. I'm going to read this comment from Armsman. This is his comment. He says, no homo, but nothing I enjoy more than Rose rants. Dude is smart and passionate about his freedom and beliefs. He has Joe on rants all the time now, too. I love their channel. Their following should be huge. They definitely deserve it. Amazing couple.
Thank you, Armsman.
Yeah, and Night Train says, Night Train says Joe and Ro are certified celebrities as they have been featured prominently in the A couple of articles on the USCCA Concealed Carry Monthly magazine.
I've got that article.
Listen, everything is not, like all these stereotypes don't fit for people. Someone says that's why gun bunnies. But there's dude gun bunnies. I keep saying this. There are dudes out there. I think that Demo Ranch is a dude gun bunny.
Being like this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to be a dude gun. He's trying to be a dude gun bunny. For sure. Tony Simon is trying to be it. But all kidding aside, there's dude gun bunnies. I think Brandon Herrera I think is really cool, but he's a dude gun bunny. Sorry.
I don't know.
I'm not saying he's not. He knows a lot about guns. He's a very smart guy. He's a lot of cool things, right? But at the end of the day, this is all the guys that are doing these videos, like, and Brandon doesn't do this. I think he talks about political stuff and all that kind of stuff. But he's in the category of Demo Ranch and Kentucky Ballistics and all these dudes out there that are just doing how many watermelons can we shoot? How many books? How many things? Can this bullet go through this thing? Oh, I almost killed myself blowing up the safe. All of that is like, that's the candy of the gun world. And I'm not knocking it. There's people look at that. People consume that.
What's this Paul? What's this guy? The old YouTube guy, like the middle-aged guy who always wears like, he looks like his videos are made in the 80s. Paul something. Gosh.
Oh, I don't know.
Hold on. Paul something.
Middle-aged.
Rolla will remember.
Paul. Huh.
He's older. So
Legally Armed America? It can't be. No.
No, that's not something.
Yeah.
It's probably not Paul. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah. Okay. And
Rolla
Okay.
Rolla will let me know what it is, and then that guy was like the original OG guy when he's like, let me see how many stakes I can shoot through. But he was like really like scientific about it, so he definitely like doesn't have that aspect.
Scientific about it. Wait a second. No, that threw me. Scientific about it.
Who did you think I was talking about?
Brick says Harrell.
Yes, that guy. Yes.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Have you watched this stuff?
I don't know what that. I don't typically recognize people by their names. Paul Harrell.
Yeah, he's like an older guy. He's a little bit quirky. Wears the same old like 1970s jacket. He's hilarious. I love his videos.
Let me see who.
But he doesn't do his like stupid stuff, but he'll definitely like test out guns and to do like the let's shoot through, soda or like this giant piece of meat or something. And
yeah.
Okay.
So
I wouldn't call him a gun bunny.
No. And I'm not trying to diss Brandon Herrera. He knows he's a gun bunny. I don't care. You guys can tell him I said he's a gun bunny. The
last time I saw him, I called him Jesus, and I think I was like, oh my god, and he was like, he didn't.
Oh, you're talking about this guy, which I don't think I've looked at his stuff too much. Yeah. I think I have seen things from. Was that guy a magazine writer or something at some point?
He acts like he must have, because I think so. To me he's got journalist vibes to me. Yeah. So I don't know his background.
I think like what is this? 42 Chill says candy comes in lots of flavors. I think it goes back to what I was saying about the Venture Brothers. Sometimes I just want junk food. Okay, I just want nonsense, and I think a lot of people are like that out there. So the bigger audience, that's what they want. Like you were at work, you had to go through all kinds of crap. Like let's say folks living here in Florida, right? Dudes living here in Florida, they're working outdoors, they're getting hot, sweaty, doing all this stuff. When they come home, they just want to unwind and they just want to look at something fun.
Well, right? I totally understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where that comes from. They don't always want to get
serious,
get miserable,
heavy.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to get heavy and
let's be realistic. I watch like I'll watch like Luke Rakowski, We Are Change, or like Tim Pool, and he's always got these little short videos that starts with Civil War is coming. At this point I think it's a joke, but I end up feeling like almost like semi-black pilled by the end. I'm like, man, this country's going to hell. Like I don't want to like get off a shift of work and like feel that way. So totally understandable. I'll put something on dumb, or I'm more of a reader. I've been a huge book nerd my entire life ever since I was a little kid. So am I going to sit there and read Shakespeare and literature and Jane Austen every day? No,
Mm-hmm.
like, or anything anymore, uh, whatever. I've
Mm-hmm.
got a copy of Atlas Shrugged that I keep trying to get through. It's not happening.
Oh, Atlas Shrugged. I'm trying to go through Atlas Shrugged on audio and it kills me. You want to go to sleep, you can read Atlas Shrugged or listen to it or even try to watch the movie. It's just
Yeah.
not entertaining. I've gotten through it to a certain point. I've had my successes come from audiobooks to
Yeah.
to a certain extent or looking at the movies. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
like I'm a reader. I go through, like, especially if I fly so much for work, I'm not the person who like puts the movie on, because it's like lately I don't know what's going on with cinema, but I
Mhm.
think F9 damn near killed me. I was always a Fast and Furious fan.
Mhm.
I can quote the first Fast and Furious movie. I quote it all the time. Like, I think I've watched that movie more than 100 times.
Yeah.
So always loved it. But as time goes on, like, I don't know what's going on with that. But F9, I must have been so bored on like an
Mhm.
all day flight kind of thing that it
Mhm.
took me like 3 or 4 flights because I could only watch it in 20-minute segments. Like,
Mhm.
that's how bad that movie was. Like, awful. So I
Well,
finally
now
got
they're
through it like
basically
4 flights later.
superheroes. They're not real. So you have to suspend your disbelief and just, you
But
know,
I like superhero movies, Hank. Like, and it wasn't like, even if you come in saying, okay, it's gonna be a superhero movie, it's still horrible.
but
It's
it's a
still that
terrible
bad.
it's like a superhero movie made by the WWF or E or whatever it is. Right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's, it's just horrible. You know that it's scripted and they're horrible at doing it, and so it just becomes a train wreck or whatever. Yeah, yeah, they're terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
if you could use a car to swing like a vine, like Tarzan through the jungle,
Hmm.
that would be what you're looking at in that. And it's got no sense of any kind of practicality, so it's morphed. They're living actually in an alternate. Their asses all died in the first or second movie,
Hmm.
and now this is them continued in some kind of alternate reality.
Or
It's
they're all in
basic,
a coma from the
yeah,
horrible car
yeah,
crash where they like went through a
yeah.
building and then like
It's
somehow they thought
basically
they
a Vin
survived.
Diesel. It's a Vin Diesel cash grab. I mean,
Hmm.
Vin Diesel's not talented. Let's be honest about that.
Not at all.
No,
I mean,
he's not
like, the only
talented.
movies, like, my only really good, they're not good, but they're like
Hmm.
campy. But it's like, if
Hmm.
you're into campy stuff, like, I love The Chronicles of Riddick. Like,
Yeah.
that to me is like the greatest Vin Diesel movie ever. After that,
Hmm.
I'm like, there's no good Vin Diesel movies in my opinion besides Fast and Furious one.
Yeah.
Um, but I quote that one.
Pitch Black was
Pitch Black.
good for a
Yeah.
low budget. Chronicles
Hmm.
of Riddick I like because of the the heavy sci-fi
And it's
kind of
absolutely
thing.
ridiculous. Like, go back and watch it now. It's even
Hmm.
funnier when you go back and watch old movies. Like, just the lines. Like,
Hmm.
when she turns around, like, Thandie Newton goes, "Who is
Oh my
this
god.
man?" Like, this is the most ridiculous movie in the world. It's so awesome because of
I
that.
also hate it when I'm looking at movies and there's only so many black chicks. You either get Thandie Newton or that chick that's like in the not the I guess she's in the Avengers, but she's in Guardians of the Galaxy. There's only like these bony ass light
Oh,
skinned chicks that get to
what's her
be
face?
um
Dominican. She's Dominican. Oh
yeah.
my God. Saldana.
Yeah,
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe
Yeah.
Saldana, yeah.
She's actually
But her and Thandie
Dominican.
Newton are the same person. So they're the same exact person. You ever notice that about Hollywood? Everyone looks the same.
Yeah. I mean,
Her
I
her and
just watched.
Thandie Newton, they're interchangeable. Can you really tell the difference? One is like Latino, right? Skinny,
Yeah.
bony ass chick. And the other one is Thandie Newton is what, British or something like that?
Yeah, I think she's
Bony
French
ass chick?
British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Same thing. There's no thickness in space,
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
so. I've never
I,
noticed.
I gotta need some thickness in space. I'm sorry. If it's gonna be like women that look like boys in space, well, fuck it. That's my opinion. I need some voluptuousness in space, like in the olden days.
There was
But
I just went through, so I missed out on all the movies from the
Mhm.
80s and 90s because that's just
Mhm.
what happened to me. Like, I just never watched because I was too busy watching like Sábado Gigante on Univision apparently.
Oh my
So
god.
I missed out on all the American culture. I'm like
Uh-huh.
catching up in it now in my 30s. So
Mhm.
I watched the Predator series from
Mhm.
scratch. Like, that's my, like, I always try to go back and like see an
Yeah.
old movie and then like give my review like 20,000 years later. So I
Yeah.
watched Predator and then I went through the series. I watched the new one called Prey. And then I watched Predator 2 and Predator versus Alien. There's that one chick that I'm like, it's that chick. It's that chick that I know from like,
Oh, from Predator
I,
2?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know her name, but she's like, she's that chick in
She
all
was
these
in
movies.
all in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
If the script called for a Latina, spicy Latina chick, yeah, they put her. I forgot
Yeah.
what her name is too. I can look it up. I looked at Predator 2 recently. It's not that bad. And the first Predator it still stands up. It's pretty good.
That movie
Um,
was, I loved it. The
yeah.
lines from that movie had me rolling because it's like I've never seen that movie, but I've heard those lines throughout life. So I'm like, I've said that so many times. I don't have time to bleed. Like I've said that so many times. Like I got a paper cut. I'm like, I don't have time to bleed.
I don't have time to bleed. Yeah.
I had no idea what that was.
No. That was the Jesse Ventura said. I ain't got time to bleed. Jesse Ventura.
Yes.
Yeah, you're talking. I'm looking at IMDb. Maria Conchita Alonso. That's who that is.
She's
Maria Conchita Alonso.
she's
Why
actually
they
superstar. She's a superstar. That is definitely not her though.
Yeah, this is her.
Is
right
that
here.
her? Was that her?
Yeah, that's
oh my
Maria
god, I had no idea.
Maria
That was.
Conchita.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Oh,
she's like
she's still out there doing
she's
stuff.
a superstar.
Oh, she's got
in the
plastic
Hispanic-
surgery right here. Though.
Oh, big time, big time.
Yeah.
That's what the life trajectory of the Hispanic soap opera star.
Yeah.
Like you just by the time you're 40, you've already got like 5 plastic surgeries.
Right. No, I like Maria Conchita Alonso. Yeah. Okay, so you were talking about Vin Diesel movies. I saw someone say that A Man Apart was good. I haven't looked at that in a while because you're right. Sometimes you have to go back because back in the days when you looked at that and you thought that was good.
Then you go back and watch it and like, what was I thinking?
A good example of that is He-Man. Like no one likes the He-Man movie that they made. They made a He-Man movie and it has what's his name? I forgot his name now, but the guy that was in the Rocky movies and all that kind of stuff. But people are like, oh, this movie's terrible. Go back and freaking watch the He-Man cartoon. It's horrible. So,
I love Masters of the Universe. I actually had a He-Man sword, and and it like lit up and it said, I forgot what it used to say, but it was like one of my favorite toys growing up.
I grew up in the 80s too, but yeah, go back and watch that. But I like what was that movie I was looking at with Vin Diesel? And I'm gonna have to go through the Vin Diesel movies and tell you which ones were good. Vin Diesel's not a good actor.
He's not.
The least he says in the movie, the better. So let's see, Vin Diesel, and we don't have that much time here, so I'm gonna probably have to do this over in the next thing here and go through the movies that Vin Diesel is in, and but let's go down through this here. So yeah, you know what? He's good in Guardians of the Galaxy as Groot.
I mean, Groot just says oh my god, okay, sure.
Yeah. Is anyone going to argue that one with me? He's good at...
No.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
I am Groot. That's
They literally
awesome.
could have had anybody do that.
No, Vin Diesel has been he's the voice of Iron Giant.
He does a lot of voice work, yeah. He's got a good
Yeah.
deep voice, but
Yeah, he's
is
good
he,
for that. That's all.
Sure.
He's good. That's it. That's the only thing. Let me
his
see.
face can't emote though. He's terrible at that. Vin Diesel trying to do emotion. He tried it in Fast and Furious when he like had the kid. Remember he had a son? That to me was like the
he's
most
too caught
hilarious.
up in himself. He's too. You know what? We're gonna have to take this break and come back here and critique. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of a DAO or decentralized autonomous organization like TUSC Crypto. TUSC cryptocurrency is a firearm-friendly e-commerce option for online payment transactions, secured on the blockchain. So when you're in the crypto market, please consider TUSC, TUSC. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do this here. So I'm going down the line. F9, terrible. Let me see. Let me put this up here. So F9, that's horrible. I don't like those. Bloodshot! Did you see that movie?
I've never even seen, like that was during the
terrible.
COVID era, so like I
Yeah.
I don't know. I must have missed that.
Horrible.
It must have gone straight to video or something.
Yeah, good for you that you didn't see it. Let's see what else was in there. I'm trying to go through Fast and Furious. Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage. Oh my God, those are
So
bad.
I actually I have a very low bar for entertainment. I actually am entertained by the Triple X movies. I really am.
What?
Like
Okay.
they're awful, but they're so bad they're good.
Did you see the one with Ice Cube? That's the worst.
Yes,
I'll take
that's
I'll
the
take
worst
the Vin
one.
Diesel ones over the Ice Cube ones.
Yeah, I didn't like the Ice Cube one. It was
Yeah.
also not believable. I'm sorry, Ice
Yeah,
Cube.
yeah, it's terrible. Okay, The Last Witch Hunter I liked. I like anything with the occult and magic and voodoo and all that kind of stuff. So, and this, I'm not saying The Last Witch Hunter is a good movie, but I kind of like that kind of stuff. So, did you ever, I don't know if you ever saw The Last Witch
I
Hunter.
did not see that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to watch it.
He's kind of like this immortal dude that hunts witches.
Okay, I can see
So,
that.
yeah.
Not much emotional range needed for that role.
I'll be honest with you. I know we had a lot of gay conversations. We are, heavy in
Today,
this
yeah.
one. If anyone analyzes it, I believe that Vin Diesel's probably gay.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah. I believe.
Is he
this.
like married or something?
I don't know, but he could be. What does that mean? Lots of gay dudes are married. I'm just saying, because here's why I say it. He has this fake idea of what macho-ness is. This is the reason why I don't like the Fast and Furious movies and a lot of movies that Vin Diesel does. Because it's almost, to me, so growing up in New York City, didn't you live in New York? Didn't you grow up
Yeah.
in New York? Okay, remember all those dudes that wore the Timberlands and acted really thugged out, but they were always up in the gay clubs?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what Vin Diesel reminds me of. I'm just telling you. Okay?
By
So-
the way, like, have you noticed that ever since like
Mhm.
the last couple years, where it's become really like okay, or at least socially accepted, or like really out there, pushed out, that the LGBT stuff is just much more out there. I've noticed a lot of like, because I remember, back in the healthcare world, like, the guy would walk in all thugged out. He's like, like super masculine. Then in the room, he's like, yeah, I'm gay and I've been having issues with my, and I'm like, oh, I was not expecting that. So like that always surprised me when someone like came out and was like for a second, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So didn't expect it, but now I've noticed the last couple of years, like people are just like out there. It's like, it's fine now, I can be like out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you
Well, so Lola says why. She obviously likes Vin Diesel, but because he's a caricature of a man. And
I
that
don't know,
tells
he's got
me
a hot wife. I just looked it up. He's got a hot wife.
but when you play a caricature of what a man is, that kind of tells me that you're not really. I can give you guys a good example. You know, like Kevin Hart is real funny, and he works out and all that kind of stuff. But when he's in movies, he doesn't go out of his way to, he plays a
Show
lot
off his manliness.
yeah, but when you see someone doing this super macho thing all the time, that's a caricature. So you're not really a man, and you can tell like when they're. It's just I can see it when I look at the Fast and Furious movies, especially I see it. But any movies with him, I see that I'm like, yo, we're family. It's all about family. It's this weird caricature of what a man is, and not really reflecting all the, how complex it is to be a guy. That's what I'm trying to say to you. And anytime you see anyone doing that, I see that in the gun world. There's lots of guys pretending to be all macho and hardcore, and I'm like, oh,
You know
okay.
what?
I see where
What made me
where they're
feel that
going.
way about him, when he started having beef with The Rock, and I'm not saying I like The Rock, because I think I've heard stuff about him that I've heard that he's a punk in real life or whatever. I've always wanted to like The Rock, but I've heard some stuff about him. I don't know if it's true. But the fact that he had beef, like that Vin Diesel had beef with someone because they outmanned him or outmachoed him on something, and like to me that's the real true reason that they probably had beef. And he felt sensitive about the fact that there was someone manlier on set than him. That made me feel like you're insecure, to Vin. Like, you're insecure. Like, you shouldn't care that there's a guy who's more manly than you. Like, just chill.
But it's, I don't know, that just caricature of what a man is what throws me like that. There's just certain things that, people will find out in time.
Well, nowadays, like I was saying, everyone's more chill out with people coming out. So, and it's actually like a good career move. Like, there's plenty of like celebrities, like Harry Styles. I don't know if you know who he is. Like, guy's straight as hell, but he likes to wear women's clothes, and somehow that's like, oh my god, like he's amazing. He's so open. He's so queer. And I'm like, he's straight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Lots
he's
of
straight.
rock
He's
stars
playing you
wear
all.
women's clothes, man. I keep telling people, rock stars have been, and I'm not saying that Harry Styles is a rock star. like the typical. But lots of these dudes wear women's clothes. A lot of people's famous.
It's considered like, I don't know, edgy or whatever.
Yeah, look at all these rock stars that a lot of people out there, even in our audience, are fans of. I had this conversation with Walter one time, and he was like, "Oh, this is so terrible how these do." I was like, "Dude, all the bands in the '80s that you love, all dressed like women."
Yeah, they had tons of eyeliner and hairspray
long
and makeup.
hair,
They used to wear lipstick.
Yeah, and they
were like,
no, they shopped. They bought women's clothing just like Prince. So
they wore fishnets. Yeah, and
yeah, that doesn't.
tell me a man in the '80s who got more ass than Prince. I'm just saying. And the most effeminate one was him, and I'm like,
yeah.
doesn't mean anything.
I mean, I was gonna say Michael Jackson, but that was all from Little Boys, so I don't know. I'm sorry, Joanna. I couldn't help it. That one slipped out. That was cold. Are we still going through the Riddick movies? Let's go back to the Riddick. Okay, that's the last one. That one was kind of nuts. That's not my favorite one out of all the Riddick things. I like Chronicles of Riddick and Pitch Black.
Chronicles of Riddick was good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through this.
I suggest you go back and watch that nowadays. It's the best thing ever. If I see that on like FX or something, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put that on. Like,
yeah. Babylon AD. Have you seen that? That's not bad. That's not bad either.
I think I started watching it, and I couldn't get through it.
That's post-apocalyptic. It's not terrible.
Yeah,
it's not terrible.
It's all right.
The Fast and the Furious movies are
The Pacifier.
The Pacifier. Everyone plays this trope that's in The Pacifier. You know that? Like,
yeah, I actually watched this one.
Yeah, the tough guy bodyguard kind of thing. You realize that, right? You realize that that's how you become an action star now. So think about it. Arnold Schwarzenegger has done it. I think, what was that, Kindergarten Cop that he did? And
I love that movie.
Didn't Arnold Schwarzenegger do something?
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah, but didn't
he was pregnant? He was pregnant in one of them.
Yeah, he was pregnant.
Remember the one
something?
where he was pregnant?
Yes. What the hell was that? I don't know.
What? Hold on. This is gonna drive me crazy because that's like some of the few. I used to love Arnold movies.
Yeah. So Lola says, "No, I don't like Vin Diesel. Just never thought of it." She says, "I think he's competing with the Junior. It was Junior. Yeah." Listen, I don't know about anyone. This is all conjecture and this is all comedy here, but my instincts are often not wrong. When dudes over macho something, it's an indication of what's going on.
I think it just means that in real life, like, he's probably scared of like mice and spiders, and he's actually probably like the biggest wuss in real life. This is probably just, and he's trying to like overdo it.
Listen, Lola gets mad when I tell her that the Ocean's 11 dude is gay. She doesn't like that.
George Clooney?
Yeah, George Clooney. Yeah.
No, he's not gay.
Yeah, he is. Don't worry about it. You'll see in the future.
Lola, I'm with you. This is not gay.
He totally is.
He is. That's another one who's gotten more butt than anybody. Like,
okay. All right.
You can't sleep with that many Italian models and tell me that you're gay. It's just not.
I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, you. Let's see. So we're going down this list. Chronicles of Riddick, A Man Apart. I haven't seen that in a while. Triple X, Knockaround Guys. That was early in his thing. I think I've kind of seen it, but
yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of it. At one point, Vin Diesel spends a lot of time acting like he's Italian, which I guess
he's not Italian.
He might be half Italian. He's black. Vin Diesel's a black dude. I think he's half and half.
Sure?
Yeah,
I
think
gotta
so.
look this up.
I think Vin Diesel's half and half. He's mulatto. Let's put it that way. He's just like The Rock. The Rock is half and half.
I thought he was a Hawaiian.
The Rock. Well, he's from Hawaii, but I think his dad is like half black. He's like a quarter black. He's a black dude. Yeah, let's put it that way. They're both black people.
He's not Italian at all. Oh my god.
What is he?
So, Vin Diesel's mom is Scottish, English, German, Irish, and Austrian. His dad is African American and possibly other. So it's not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
In The Rock's background, if his dad maybe is like half black, but his granddad was definitely black. So, not that it matters or whatever, but yeah, those
Yeah, but
brothers,
that's hilarious that he does pretend to be Italian quite a bit in his career, right?
There's a thing he did that is like it's kind of famous on the internet of Vin Diesel, like acting. I think he was trying to audition for a role. I don't think it's a role he actually did in a movie, but he was auditioning for a role, and he's talking just like an Italian gangster type of dude. So, there you go.
So here's
I find it interesting that we have spammers, even though we're on Utreon. That's funny to me.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Are you guys on Utreon?
We're not. We're actually on Rumble now, and that's our big, like, trying to get away from YouTube.
Yeah. Do you know what's my new theory? Just to mess up. I like to mess up your life when you come on here, Joanna.
Go for it.
Because I like you. Just like those other old dudes, I find you cute. I'd rather look at you than Rolando. He's my boy. He's my homie. But, so I like to mess with you. Here's one of my theories of who I think is also gay. That no one wants to hear.
No one's going to believe
I'm going to give you three guesses. A dude out there that all the ladies like. That's my first clue to you. I don't know how many clues it's going to take for you.
Justin Bieber?
What?
I don't know. It depends on what era you're talking about. Like,
I don't know, man. I'm going to have
like...
to talk to Rolando. I say a dude that all the ladies like, and you say Justin Bieber.
Because that's like, remember, like, I don't know.
You seriously told me Justin Bieber.
I don't know. If you're talking my generation, people really like Justin Bieber. I don't find him attractive. They also like Zac Efron, and I don't find him attractive either.
Okay.
So that's my second guess. Is it Zac Efron?
Okay, you're definitely younger. I surrender. Let me get this comment here because Armin and Axis gave us $5. He says, "Take my money and tell Joe I say hey, and say hey to Rolo also. Good to see Joe on again. Good peeps." So there you go.
Oh, I miss him. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
Hey.
Actor. This is also an actor.
Okay. Can you give me an age range so I don't keep like throwing little babies at you?
I don't know what his age range is. He's probably in my age range. He's probably somewhere between 40 and 50 something.
Brad Pitt?
No, not Brad Pitt.
I don't know.
How dare you say that about Brad Pitt?
I don't know. You just said George Clooney's gay, so I don't know. Like, come on, man.
No, I don't think. Listen, Brad Pitt almost got killed over messing with
yeah.
What's her name?
Angelina Jolie.
No. What's the name of the chick that? Okay, he's 57 years old. I just looked him up. What's the name of the woman that was married to Mike Tyson? Remember back in the days, Mike Tyson was married to that actress chick. Oh my God, someone's gonna tell me here. You probably never heard this. Let me see. I'm gonna look up real quick. Mike Tyson wife. Pat in the I forget. I always forget her name, but
I just look up someone and her name is Lakeha Spicer, and I don't think that's who you're talking about.
No, it's like way back in the days. Anyone remember?
Robin Givens.
Robin Givens, yes.
Oh, we're talking like a long time ago.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was married to Robin Givens, and at that time, Brad Pitt was hitting it, and almost
really.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Armsman says Robin Givens. Yeah. Mike Tyson almost busted them a couple of times. So I'm just gonna tell you right now, if you have to be really into women to keep getting almost busted by Mike Tyson and almost dying to get some. Okay? You got to be good. Okay? You've got to be
I'll
into
give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah, you guys. So no, Brad Pitt. I'm gonna say no on that. Okay, so I gave you. He's also an action. He's an actor. I told you he's an actor.
Are you talking about Bruce Willis? Because please don't tell me Bruce Willis.
He's an action star, and a lot of gun guys like his movies. Come on, no one in this chat has guessed this yet. Someone said Tom Cruise. Gen Champ Jr., you are telling us what we already know. Come on,
Tom Cruise? No, Tom Cruise has got issues, but I don't think being gay is one of them. Well, not that that's an issue, but I just don't think that's...
Tom Cruise. Oh, yeah, for sure. But I'm still a Tom Cruise fan. I mean, I don't... Yeah, but
I like Tom Cruise. I mean, did you watch Maverick or whatever, the Top Gun Maverick?
Not yet.
I watched it like 3 times. It's so good.
No, I don't go to. I'm not into going to the movie theater. Tom Cruise is. Listen, Tom Cruise paid for his 2 wives. So, come on now.
He paid for his 2 wives.
Yeah, each one of
How
his
do you figure?
wives, he was married to these 2 actress chicks that had babies for him. They were both paid. They had a contract to get married to him and have babies.
Mm-hmm.
So a dude is not going to do that, and a lot of Hollywood actors are doing that. So you never heard about?
Are you talking about Keanu Reeves?
Ba-boom!
There's no way he's gay.
You finally got the. That's just a theory. I don't know. I like Keanu.
He's been
Reeves.
with the same. Have you seen his girlfriend or wife or whatever? She's like.
I don't think
white
Keanu
hair.
Reeves has ever been married.
No, he's had a long. He's just super private. So let me tell you a little bit about Keanu.
Lola's gonna be so mad about me talking about Keanu Reeves. But I had the other day, it just came into my brain. I was like, oh, Keanu Reeves is a little bit. He's a little bit too perfect. He's a little bit too perfect.
There's a reason for it. The guy's gone through like hell and back. So he's like one of those like super private people. It's because when he was younger, like I think his sister died of leukemia, which messed him up. So he donates like half his freaking money to leukemia foundations. And then he was about to get married. His wife or his girlfriend was pregnant. Like this is back in the day. And then like she died with the baby. Like she had a car accident and died. Like and then he like felt terrible. So like this guy has been basically like through it. So he like went off like deep end and doesn't like do the Hollywood life anymore. And then like he's just super humble, just super quiet, and just has a lot of pain and suffering inside. So I think that's his deal. I don't think he's gay. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
that's your thing.
That's my
because
theory.
I'm just making shit up.
I just think that he's
I'm
like
just
one of the
making
most.
stuff up.
He's probably like
But-
super sensitive and just been through it and had like a lot of emotional trauma.
Yeah.
In life.
But I am
especially like when I
psychic.
found out. Yeah.
But
I
am-
dare you look up Keanu Reeves' his wife. She's
What?
not girlfriend,
How?
wife.
I mean, Tom Cruise has had some hot chicks.
He
Having hot
doesn't.
chicks
He's not the
doesn't mean
type. He's not the
anything.
type to have hot chicks. I'm saying she's very like.
I'm
plain
sorry.
Jane.
Did you just say Keanu Reeves is not the type to have hot chicks? What kind of chicks?
He's
is that?
not. No. Like I dare you. Go look up Keanu Reeves' girlfriend or wife. She's just
Okay.
like plain Jane, white hair, boy haircut, just super, just.
Okay, well, you're now making my argument for me. On the other side.
What? That
of
he's gay? No.
Yeah.
He just likes. I think he just likes realness.
Armament and Access says Hank likes to just make shit up.
I'm like, there's no indication that Keanu is not.
I'm just listen, I am just messing with you, but see, sometimes nuggets like drop into my brain and epiphanies, and I'm like, yeah, I think one day we're gonna find this out. I think one day we're gonna find
I mean,
this out.
I'm still. You never know. I'm still like in shock over Ricky Martin because I grew up where Menudo was a thing.
You were shocked over Ricky Martin? You can't be serious. I always knew that
definitely
about
shocked.
Ricky Martin.
No. You know, like when again, remember, I'm super like involved, like pay attention to Hispanic news. He was like with the same hot blonde girl for like 10 years.
That's
like
the-
they were.
But that's the
She was
indication.
Spanish.
That's the indication.
Why?
That's the indication. You can't be a famous dude. You can't be famous with money and a rock star and with the same chick all the time. It just.
So
I'm
you're saying
sorry.
it was just a beard? Well, it must have.
Yeah.
It must
Come
have
on.
been. He says that he loved her, but I don't know. And she was shocked when he came out.
Yeah. If I was famous, there'd be no me and Lola right now. Lola might be like my side piece or something like that.
Lola, are you hearing this?
Lola,
you're
that's
gonna
what
get your
she.
ass handed to you later.
That's what
today.
she would prefer. She always tells me that. She was like, "I'd rather be your mistress because being married to you is hell."
Oh my goodness.
Trust me. Yes. But we're going to take a break and come right back. The Who Moved My Freedom podcast is made possible by our partners at 2A Commerce. Veteran owned and with over 20 years experience, 2A Commerce is the leader in custom e-commerce and web application development in the shooting sports industry. Clients include major brands such as Guard Dog Body Armor, Sylvan Arms, AccuFire Technologies, The Tactical Games, Warrior Knife Company, and yours truly, Hank Strange. Visit 2A Commerce and support this show by supporting them. Once again, visit the number 2acommerce.com. Yeah, so now part of this, Joanna, is that, like, guys, me included, like torturing cute chicks, yourself included, about dudes that they like. We're like, oh yeah, he's gay. That's the game
Yeah.
that we're playing here. But I'm also serious. I'm also serious about this. And Lola says lots of girls were shocked and heartbroken over Ricky Martin. Armsman says Ricky was known since he was a menudo. I think you were too close to it because I remember I grew up in those times, right? And none of that shocked me. I was like, okay. Yeah.
Man, it definitely like I remember my sister and I were like I was in mourning because I don't know like that would have been like to me I had like very specific people that I liked. I loved him. I still love.
I liked Queen
Walker.
Latifah. I thought Queen Latifah was cool when she was a rapper. That's from my time. She was a rapper. She was an actress and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't bother me that she's gay or whatever. You know, it wasn't.
Wow,
I mean,
what
I didn't.
rock
I
have
didn't
I
think.
been living under? It's a little bit different though.
I
Like
didn't
I'm
think that-
sorry,
Uh-huh.
women have a spectrum. I really truly believe this. Like women can be gay and still go back. Like didn't that happen to like Ellen DeGeneres was married to some chick and then like she like turned straight again.
Right.
Not Ellen, I'm saying her chick. But the girl and Hayes or whatever. She just
NH.
died by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
just
married
died. That's
to
crazy.
Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah. Yeah, she did pass. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, it's like I hear that all the time. I know, like, to me, it's like anytime that a woman gets pissed off at men, this happens to one of like my other good friends.
Yeah.
She
The
was
first.
straight-
That's the first button.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden they're lesbian. It's like that happened
Oh.
to a good friend of mine. She went through it with guys, and she was like, I think I'm gonna be gay for a while. And then like she was gay for a little while, and then like she got over it and went back to guys. I'm like, what is that? Like women just like they have a spectrum. Whereas if a guy does that, it's like no. Like Roland was explaining this to me. He's like, there's no way you can have a spectrum and be a guy. Like to me, like that's BS. Like you are straight.
Those are
or
just
you
those are just
gay.
or bisexual. There's bisexual dudes out there.
I don't know. He doesn't
There
believe
are.
that. I think that guys can be bisexual. I know people who are, but to me, it's like that's less common. I think you are either gay or straight, and guys most of the time. But women can just like turn that switch on and off. I see it all the time.
So what
I'm
happens to dudes in prison? What's up with those dudes? That's just temporary?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
The Roman soldiers used to F each other, so clearly.
Listen,
I
we
don't know.
started this by telling you that dudes are horrible. Okay? And if you can't accept the horribleness, you know, and this is part of my theory. When you look at a guy, a true guy has so many faults. A perfect dude out there, come on. At some point, Keanu Reeves is going to smack the shit out of somebody. If Keanu Reeves never smacks the shit out of anyone and is always awesome, that's an indication. Sorry.
I can tell you what his fault is. He made that horrible movie, Matrix, whatever they called it,
What? Yeah, that was horrible.
the new one.
Keanu Reeves has made a lot of terrible movies.
Yes,
okay.
he has.
Yeah, he's made a lot of terrible.
As long as you don't have Bill and Ted in there. Bill and Ted's like one of my favorite movies from the 80s.
Yeah, and I don't dislike him or anything. I'm just telling you. Night Train says, I remember Andrew Dice Clay comedy routines talking about gays. Yeah, and 42 Chill says there's a lot of bisexual people out there, which there are. You know, and Lola says side piece have more fun.
So,
Yeah.
I
Lola, you think
mean-
you think so? First of all, if I was rich and famous, I would not get married. Period. I would have never gotten married. Nope. I never intended to get married in the first place. Lola is the only person that I've ever seen
She tricked
ever
you?
in my life. No, man. When I met Lola, remember how I just said to you sometimes divine inspiration drops into my brain? This never happened to me. The moment when I laid eyes on Lola, she had a halo around her. And I heard music and all kinds of stuff. It was the weirdest, craziest thing that never ever happened to me in my life, and never happened after. So as a dude, I'm always like, I'm always crazy about some chick or whatever. Think, oh, this is, but I never had that particular thing. Lola's the only chick I could have gotten married to. But if I was rich and famous, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have gotten married because I would have done a lot of horrible things. You know, and not like I think marriage is a really great thing, but my parents didn't have a good marriage, so it's not a thing that I would have done, you know, unless I was really sure about it. That's probably the best way to put it, you know. If I wasn't married anymore, if Lola, you know, finally came to her senses and got rid of me, I'll never get married again. I don't understand people who get married like, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 times. I don't get it.
5 times. I know someone married 5 times.
Yeah. So it's all bullshit. It's an indication.
At that point, just give up, man.
It's an indication of something major being wrong with that person. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I studied microbiology and immunology and virology in college, but that was my like nerdy thing that I really liked. But I remember in my virology class, I was sitting there, and one of my professors was like this 75, 80-year-old lady, Hispanic lady, and we were going over like I think we were going over like STDs and STIs and stuff like that, and we were talking about AIDS, and she was just like, she looks at us and she goes, I could never be in my 20s again, because how do you guys go out there and have sex? She's like, I would never have sex knowing all this is out there. And it's true. God. You guys like,
yeah, me too.
To me, it's not even AIDS. Like, to me, it's like the thing that's like people run around getting chlamydia all the time, and there's like antibiotic resistant chlamydia. I talk about chlamydia all the time, and everybody thinks I'm like, ew, it's so gross. I'm like, bro, like, how do you have sex? Like,
dude, there's monkeypox floating around out there now.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's all specific,
monkeypox is, you gotta have a certain kind of sex.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying there's too much shit out in the world.
I don't know. Like, I would.
No.
If Rolando left me, he was just like go off to, I don't know, be a different person with whatever. If he left me ever, that's it for me. I don't think I would ever be able to be with anyone else, because to me it's like I think people's bits of like knowing all that stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't know how people like.
I'm a germaphobe. I'll tell you that right now. Like you can ask Lola if I'm drinking something, she'll come and drink it. I'm done with that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Lola
I won't.
Did that to me
I
once.
won't take something from her and drink it, and she thinks she always gets mad at me.
I get mad at Rolo. Like one time I took a bite of his pizza. He's like, "You could just have it.
Done.
Like,
yeah,
just have
done.
it. It's yours
Don't
now."
worry.
I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No,
Much less like I know dudes who expect to be drinking something and like give it to me. I'm like, yo, get the hell out of here, man. I definitely don't know.
That's how you get. What's that? Epstein-Barr virus. Like, what's the terminology, that the layman terminology? Mono.
Mono. Yes, that's how you get mono.
How you get mono. Yeah. I got mono in like when I was 18 from like dirty dishes at UM. Like that still grosses me out. I got so sick for like
one of my
months.
Kids got mono like that, and
gross.
Yeah. I've never had that, but yeah, I'm a germaphobe, so I don't know. I'm screwed. I'm gonna have to like.
So I'm telling you, you're not thinking about this straight. You want to get married because that's it. That's locked in. That's yours. You don't have to worry about chlamydia and gonorrhea and the all kinds of nasty warts and stuff like.
I learned a long time ago. You can't
nasty
own other.
Stuff.
You can't own other people.
Yes, you can.
You can. You cannot. You could try.
Rolo's mine. That's it.
Oh, okay.
No one's touching that. I'll beat them.
Oh, okay. This is why the guns, right? This is why the guns.
Yeah. No one's coming near him.
Yeah. It's gonna be like Frankie and Johnny. You ever heard that song, Frankie and Johnny?
No.
You never heard that? Like Frankie and Johnny were sweethearts. That's the way the story goes. Frankie, because Frankie's a girl, and she gave everything to Johnny, from his cars to his fancy clothes. You never heard that song?
No.
Oh, it's like an old song my parents used to listen to. And then the guy like winds up cheating on her, and then she gets mad and all that kind of stuff. You don't own it.
Johnny?
Yes. That's the whole moral. So put in the chat if you've heard Frankie and Johnny. You've heard about that.
I'm gonna have
song.
to look this up on YouTube later.
That's an old school song. But yes, I think I agree with you. You got lucky. I feel like I got lucky. I don't feel like I own anyone. I feel like Lola's always plotting to escape from me.
Run, Lola, run.
But yeah, yeah, man. I don't want to be out there in the world, man.
I'm telling you, if you become a millionaire, like you win the Powerball overnight, like don't leave Lola, because you gotta really think this through. Like, especially if you're a germaphobe, like if you win the Powerball, let me know. I'm gonna start sending you articles about chlamydia and how bad it is in this country. Like, I don't know how people have sex in Florida.
STDs is crazy on the face of this planet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, STDs.
Like
we are STD machines, human beings.
To me, it's like, don't even get me started. I'm just talking about like chlamydia and antibiotic resistance there, but like herpes, that's like like that's the gift that keeps on giving. Like you're done. Just there's no coming back from that. To me, there's none. You just gotta find someone else who's herpetic, and then like you be together, because like I've actually like before Rolo, like I would see cute people and then like find out they had herpes, and I'm like, that's it. We're like, I'm not.
This is what messes you up. The reason why I'm laughing, because you're in the medical field, Lola's in the medical field. That has messed her up.
Yes.
Yes,
It's like
it
the
has
more you
messed
know
her
is
up.
not good.
Someone said, 42 Chilled says yeah. And Dan Hates You says Johnny Cash sang it. And Lola says, as long as both people are faithful in the marriage.
Yes, that is true.
Life has twists and turns. You don't really know until the end, but I agree with that. I think everyone is responsible for their own honor and has to work to preserve that. And I know there's people who have that. And if you get like I said, I don't think Lola, the reason why that weird thing happened to me, and I don't know what people believe in or don't believe in, but to me that was a sign. And there's several times in your life that you will see signs, whether you believe in it or not. And that was a sign right there that was saying like it was like a big arrow on this chick. It was like this chick right here, this is your chick. And I knew, I was like, oh, this is gonna be my wife. And she freaking hated me. Immediately she thought this guy is obnoxious and he thinks he's hot shit. You know, he's totally annoying. Yeah, you ask her about that. Huh?
Proof that you can't run from fate. It's just
no.
That was it, and she could run all she wanted. You were still gonna be there.
Yeah, she tried to, but Lola wanted to be friends with me. But she was in college, and I would go to her dorm, and all her girlfriends in the dorm, like I'll be over there talking, and she would realize like all those girls were attracted to me because you know I'm magnetic.
You had swag.
Huh? Yeah, you know, swag. I got it from my dad. My dad's a very magnetic kind of person, and I'm not being conceited. It's just, you know, and so she would realize like, oh, all these chicks are listening to him or whatever, and she would take me. She would like, no, we gotta go. And then we would go somewhere. I remember one time we were getting on an elevator. A girl was getting on with her boyfriend, and when they got off, Lola's like, oh, you're trying to kick it. I was like, what? That chick literally just got on here with her boyfriend, and I didn't even say anything. We would go to a restaurant and the waitress is nice to me. She's like, oh, are you trying to kick it to this way?
You could not win.
No, but I kept telling, and by the way, she had like her boyfriend was like tall, dark-skinned, handsome, stockbroker that was like had a law degree and drove a Porsche, all that type of shit.
Lola?
Yeah, Lola.
Lola, what'd you do? No, I'm just kidding.
I wore her down. I knew. The signs told me, and I was like, oh, this is it right here. So, but yeah.
I can understand that. On our first date, we were in Olive Garden because I met Rolo online, and I love those online, like I did online dating like once, and my profile lasted 2 days because I spent the first day nonstop. Every time I was like, I think it was a weekend, I like nonstop did like those quizzes because I had so much fun with those stupid quizzes, like those personality quizzes. And I'm at like question number 300, and finally I'm like, all right, I've done like 300 questions. Let's see if I have it, you know, like what my results are. So everybody else was like 65% in my general area, or like 70% tops, and then there was this one guy who was 98%. I was like, what in the world? Like there's a huge wow. Like the next guy like with the closest hit, like in terms of personality, like compatibility, is 70%. I gotta check this guy out. Then I open up his profile. He likes the same music I like. He has like the same, like all this stuff. I'm like, who is this guy? So I like hit on him. He was dating someone. He broke up with them immediately, and then like we exchanged phone numbers, and on date 2 I closed my account. So like that was the story of Rolo and Joe. We went on our first date at Olive Garden, and I sat across from him and I said, you're gonna fall in love with me, and that was it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was right.
That is a boss move. That's a boss move right there.
He was like,
Rolo was like, this is what I've always wanted. The chick who comes along just takes charge.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're the boss. You got me. No, that's cool. No, you guys get along. You guys have great chemistry.
Yeah, I really do think it's you gotta find someone who, like, you and Lola were friends. You know, that's why. Like, you guys were. I
was never friends with Lola. She was trying to be friends with me.
But you guys had a platonic relationship initially, and were still like you maintained that, and you had enough interest in each other to maintain a platonic relationship before.
Not on my side.
Not on your side, but
not where I was coming from. No, I
You
was
were
serious
always
about
trying. You were always trying to be with Lola.
Yeah, Lola's
She, in her mind, you guys were friends.
yeah, she's just a nice, outgoing kind of person. This is where we're different. I'm introverted. I don't freaking like people. I could deal with people.
But yeah,
right?
you do this every day.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm introverted. You don't realize that? I'm
No,
super,
I mean, I'm the same way.
I'm super introverted. I could deal with people. I've always been like that. People in my family are typically one or the other. Like my sister's really extroverted, and my brothers are very introverted. But maybe I'm like my dad. My dad is probably the closest thing to me, that he could be introverted and extroverted. He could flip that switch and go one way or the other, and I'm like that too. But really and truly, no, I don't freaking like people.
No, I feel the same way. I say that all the time. It's really weird when and people think you're mean or there's something wrong with you when you say I don't like people, but really stop and think about it. Like people suck. Like people generally are a-holes or they're nosy. It's just like it takes a lot for me to like somebody. So when I say
I like my kind of people, like the people, like
Yeah.
the people who, who like we're probably, all very on similar vibes, even though not the same.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
when you have to find someone, and it's like
Right.
that's when I don't have a huge group of friends. Like like everyone's like I could count my my circle's very small. What is that line? There's a rap song. My circle is small, like a round of applause or something like that. I don't remember what song that's in, but yeah, that's always been true for me. I like find one or two people that I'm just like, these are my people. I get along with them. They understand me. I don't have to call them. I hate that expectancy. Like if you think that I'm gonna call you every day or every week, like no, we can't be friends. Like you have to understand. I could like a month could pass and I could like text you and then we'll be like pick up right up because I can't handle like I need space from people, especially now that I'm doing social media stuff. I hate social media. It's a constant interaction. I have one of the accounts for Geeks and Gamers that I tweet out. I'm like, I have to like, my reaction is to tell people fuck off like that. Like, and I'm not allowed
It's
to
a
do
tool.
that.
Social media is a tool. I use it, but I use it to let people know stuff. I don't hang out on social media.
But you have to. Like, if you're going
I'm
to
not.
grow your stuff, you have to.
Yeah,
So
but I'm not
it's
trying
a
to impress
struggle.
anyone, even though I put things about me on there. I'm not trying to make you jealous of me. I'm not trying to impress you. My most valuable things I don't put on there. My wife and my kids, every now and then I might put up a picture or something like that. Some people are living on there like it's their value of everything. To me,
Yeah,
it's
I
a way to
can't.
get people to discover what I'm doing and what I'm up
God.
to and see if, hey, we're creating this entertainment. Maybe, it can entertain you for a little while. But man,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
don't
me,
live in that.
it's spreading a message or something. Now that I'm doing
Yeah.
video game stuff, it's really different because before it was just like two-way stuff that I was really, or political stuff that I was very passionate about, whereas like gaming stuff is like, so we have a Nintendo thing coming out, so it's like it's still cool because I love that stuff, but it's like a different. It's like I'm still getting used to it. But now I have to interact with people that are like just the general population versus people who are more in my echo chamber. And like I have never had to like curb myself back as much as this because I'm just like, oh my God. I remember I almost tweeted this out. I almost wanted to tweet out on my personal Twitter, like I hate people. I almost did that yesterday just because of like spending
Uh-huh.
too much time with the general population.
Mm-hmm.
It's just taxing on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me. There's so many things in here. Night Train says she made Rolo an offer he could not refuse. She Jedi mind tricked him. Jen Champ Jr. says she brainwashed Rolo. Yeah, she Jedi mind
I mean, he
tricked
broke
him.
up with his girl that he was
Shit.
talking to. He was like talking to some Brazilian chick. I one of the Brazilian
What?
chicks. So yeah,
That's respect.
yeah.
Yeah, that's legit right there.
Mhm.
Jen Champ says, I hate this show. I'm only here for Joe, Walt, Lola too. There you go. BFBI too, I guess. Yeah. We're all alike. All these people we're talking about. Yeah, we're all alike. Absolutely. And Night Train says, I don't think one gun topic came up during the entire show.
We did talk about guns the first 15
Yeah.
minutes. We
Yeah,
talked
we
about the 2A.
Yeah, we talked about Biden.
Yeah, and F-15s.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all human beings, as you guys always know. So there you go. I'm trying to see what other comments we're missing out of all the people here. Armin and Axis is he's talking about how, he says, only person in charge of my life is me. Armin and Axis, he's going through some things. He's coming to terms with his stuff. until he meets someone awesome, and then be a whole
I was
different
gonna
deal.
say
Yeah.
you haven't met that person yet.
Yeah. I think he's been through some stuff in the past. So, which
Hmm.
is what happens. Which is what happens.
Just
We're Go ahead. We're gonna take
no,
a quick break.
no, you're gonna take your break. Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna take a break and come right back. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of manufacturers like Safety Harbor Firearms. SHF is a quintessential family-owned small business, totally representative of the American dream. Safety Harbor Firearms is a Florida-based manufacturer of the compact entry stock and the SHTF 50 upper for an AR-15 lower. Also, SHF happily delivers on your Sten gun parts needs. So don't forget to check out stenparts.com and safetyharborfirearms.com. Yeah, Lola had said back, and I know this is like the last segment here, then we're wrapping. But Lola said medications are so readily available now that people aren't worried. And Jen Champ said that that's a problem, really, though. Yeah, I think there's a big thing to that now. Like
I don't know.
the pill solution is big in our world. People are like, yeah, I'll just take a pill for everything. So
I mean, I used to be the person who would go in and have to look at stuff, and I've literally burnt warts off people's junk. So, to me, it's like if I had to see it and handle it, and that was just like there was no better cure for me than to be like, yep, never having sex again, with anybody but my husband. Saying like that's it. Even if he wasn't married,
Yeah.
I'm like that's it. You're the last person. That's it.
Mhm,
No more.
mhm.
So yeah, I think that
Yeah.
traumatized me.
In a lot of ways, I mean, those of us in our world, I'm not just talking about the gun world, and in the way that we think about politics and everything, right?
Hmm.
We're fortunate if we can find people that are like that.
Yeah.
Because I think nowadays, it's not really that most people are sheep, but I think that most people just don't care.
No,
That's what I
absolutely.
think is
Yeah,
going on. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Even the gun, like, I don't know how you feel about this, but even in the gun industry or gun community, and I hate using that word because everybody's like, I use the word community so much because we're not a community, and we
Mhm.
could have a whole 2 hour conversation about that, and I'm not gonna. But and whatever the like-minded people who like guns, not that many people actually do care outside of what they own and what they have. Like they're like, if the world goes to hell, I'm gonna go find a mountain and like I don't care. So they're not involved at all with politics. They're not involved in 2A advocacy. They just don't care, and they don't doesn't feel like it affects them. So why should they care? So I think that's actually not true that a lot of us are like-minded. I think a lot of people just are into guns, and they're very selfish about that aspect of their life, and they don't really care about how it'll affect another person or another person in another state. So yeah, I have feelings about
I
that.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think in America, probably half the people own guns, but they don't
Hmm.
consider themselves gun folks,
No.
right? So, whatever that number is out of 350 million people, 150 million people or whatever, 175 million people maybe are gun owners, but yeah, they don't really give a shit out of that. I think that the fact that there's 5 million members of the NRA says that there's 5 million people out there that abdicate their responsibility to the NRA. But that doesn't mean, I think the core of people, in our space, like you're on tonight, Kevin Dixie was on last night, the folks who are out there, those of us who actually do care about this, we're watching what's happening in the news and all this kind of stuff. Man, we're small. I don't know if in America we're more than a few 100,000 people. I don't.
Hmm.
We're whatever our number is. It's small. It's not that 5 million members of the NRA because they
It's
don't
not.
care. Those folks don't care. I'm not. There's people who are members of the NRA and that care, but
Hmm.
if you are and you care what the NRA is up to, you'd be mad about it. And that's still a
Hmm.
very small number. Most of those members don't really care what the NRA is up to.
And then compare that 5 million to the number of supposed gun owners. Like 14 million new gun owners just happened in like the last few years,
Hmm.
supposedly, according to Fox at least. I don't know where they got that
Yeah.
statistic, but
But that's just
um
people who panic, like you said.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's so if you count the number of actual like besides that, those are the new people. Just everybody who's ever owned a gun or owns a gun or has a gun in a safe somewhere, um, you know, that's a ton of people, and only 5 million of them have even bothered to, like pay their NRA dues. Like, and that's even a larger amount than the people who actually are out there grassroots advocating or, trying to get people to convert their way of thinking or destigmatize firearm ownership. So
Hmm.
that's really sad.
Yeah, I
And
think
that's
that.
what it makes people like us even more of a small, you know, community, again, to use that word,
Mhm.
or like-minded people. There's very few of us out there like this.
Right, exactly. And it is what it is. There's just a shift going on in America, and it didn't happen now. It happened over a long time, and I'm not sure if people are going to shift back to caring about, because it's an overall thing. You were talking about loving America, which I agree with, and I do. But if you love America, whether you're on the left or the right, none of that matters. There's like these principles that make America what it is. And the Constitution and the Second Amendment is one of those things that separates America from the rest of the planet. And this is why, folks like Biden talk about us the way that they do when they're talking about these guys, these Second Amendment guys, right? That's why they talk about us that way, because they want us to be like the rest of the world. And if we want that, regardless of what we believe, we have to go back to the things that made us that made other countries afraid to mess with us, to
Hmm.
attempt to invade America, you know. Um, but it's going to take more than us wanting to do that. Um, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure what's going to come out of it. I'm really in observing mode right now to see. It could happen. I think people in America need to suffer enough that they get mad and they start going, why? Right?
Well,
Why
that's
is this
exactly it.
happening? Hmm.
Yeah. There needs to be, and it'll happen. It doesn't have to be a single catastrophic event. But I think that they're pushing so hard, like even what's like, we didn't get to talk about it, but
Hmm.
what's going on in California and Texas with the energy stuff, like
Hmm.
people are gonna basically, uh, you know, have to give up, having AC and having the lights on
They're
because of
painting
these
themselves in.
changes.
They're painting
Yeah.
themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
And now
So
what
what's
do
gonna
you do?
happen?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that they're really pushing hard and they're being really dumb, the progressive left that's pushing this agenda, because once you take away the core comforts, that's when the sheep stop being sheep.
Hmm.
That's what you got to do. You got to make, in the words of the left, you got to make people uncomfortable. I didn't say it, they did.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. They're going to make people uncomfortable. And once they get to that point, they're going to stop and reevaluate their lives and their thoughts. And hopefully it will not be too late.
Yeah, we were talking about it on Monday. I think that, so for example, what's happening in California with the mandates that they can't sell gas powered cars after this
Hmm.
date and all that kind of stuff. Or I think either, I don't know if you sent it or Lola did or both of you.
I sent it
Um,
to you.
yeah, something, like right now for the electrical grid they're asking people to not charge their cars, or
Yeah.
yet they
So
want
that's
to
the
completely go to that. Hmm.
hmm So
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting. It's like, well, you're pushing everyone to have EVs, but then you can't drive. And even if you did, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of the Tesla stations in California. They're
Hmm.
basically homes to all the homeless people.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
sent that to my family online because they're politically different than I am. So I sent that to them and said,
Yeah, but that's,
would
you
you
don't
feel
see that
comfortable
here in
charging your?
Florida. Yeah.
You don't, but
No. Hmm.
that's the system that they want to believe in, or like
Hmm.
that's the political ideology
Yeah.
they want to believe
It
in.
has to
So it's
break.
like,
It
yeah,
has to break. This is what I said about this when people ask me about it. I think, yeah, do it. Please, California, do it. Just do it. You've got to push your people so far that everything breaks.
it's crazy to me that this is all happening. Like you have literally a village of homeless people everywhere. There's literally like hypodermic needles on the floor. There's crap on the human feces on the floor, and people are still voting for Gavin Newsom. Like to me, like this is beyond. Like to me, that's impossible. I think we've reached the point, or they're getting very close to the point where people have got to start being like, okay, maybe we're wrong. And you know what they're doing instead? They're moving. They're moving to Texas, and they're so stupid that they don't realize that they're changing, like they're making that same thing that happened happen in other places. So
Hmm.
what they should be doing, that's why I think people are stupid too. I'm sorry. Like I don't like people, and common sense is not very common.
Hmm.
Instead of being like introspective and saying what causes this to happen, which is not that hard. It's not that like that's not a big leap, but it's not rocket science, you know, instead they go, well, something's wrong here. It's too expensive. I'm leaving.
Hmm.
And then they go and vote the same crap in some other state. Like that's just
Because
pathetic to me.
people, because one of the biggest problems that most people have is they cannot admit when they're wrong.
Hmm.
Most people have that problem, including people on our side. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, this is a human being problem that most people don't know how to admit when they're wrong. They
Absolutely.
can't
And they're very
actually approach things.
close-minded.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah, that
question themselves all the time. I'm a gun guy, but I question myself,
yeah.
and I'm always checking where I come up, right? So this is how I know, or this is how I'm gauging whether something is righteous or not. I'm not just
Hmm.
automatically going, "Oh, this is righteous because someone told me that."
Hmm.
I'm constantly questioning and testing myself and listening to people and the way that they think. And you know what? This is one of the core things I always come back to. You got to defend yourself. You
Hmm.
have to defend yourself. And it's going to be uncomfortable. A knife cuts both ways. So if you're going to use guns, yes, it could hurt you. It could hurt people. It could hurt people around you. Okay, then you have to be careful. Right? So I'm constantly questioning this. But what's happening to a lot of people out there, they cannot be wrong. And this is where we're at, and this worries me about people out there. It's one of the reasons why I worry about Trump. you know I'm not all the way, I don't, I've said it before. Now obviously, if that's the scenario we wind up with, I'll be happy to make Trump the president again just for vengeance. But that's, we're talking about a lot of ignorance here. If we don't have on
Hmm.
our side anyone better than Trump to stand up and try to lead America in the right direction, then we're ultimately screwed anyway,
Hmm.
right? But I'm willing to, first of all, when Trump was put up by the NRA, I questioned it, right? And then I got along with it, right? But the options that came up, I was like, well, I'm gonna go with Trump, you know. But I also saw, recognized every single time, and if you think about it, he did a lot of bad things for gun folks,
He's
people
not
who,
a gun guy.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a New Yorker. Let's be honest. He's a classic Democrat. And if anyone gets upset for me saying this, I'm not sorry because it's the truth. He's a classic New Yorker, Democrat, and he maybe got a little bit more fiscally conservative. Maybe he just didn't like how things were running, but that's gonna be the type of guy he was. His son is a true conservative. His son's a gun guy, but he isn't.
yeah.
And
I don't think all his kids are necessarily either. So, yeah,
well,
we've got to be able to question this. We have to see when our leaders, if you're a Republican, like I'm a Republican now. That's what I'm registered at. Um, you know, here in Florida, I can't just go like, oh, all Republicans are awesome. You
mm-mm.
can't do it. You got to knock them. The
Yeah, that's one of
Republicans
my.
here in Florida have
Mhm.
done the worst. That if you when you look at Texas, that there's cases coming up reversing the age limits and all this kind of stuff because it's unconstitutional. And there's
We have
Republicans here that did it in Florida. Sorry, go ahead.
We have Maria Elvira Salazar, who's a rep down here in Miami, and she's Cuban American, and she ran on a platform of being a Cuban in Miami that really works. Then they're very conservative,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right,
and then
right.
she has voted yes on every single gun control bill, like all of them. And we have also another Hispanic who does the same thing. You run on to being super conservative. I watched them get, like I was like, hey, I know her because she used to be a journalist, by the way, in
Hmm.
Hispanic news. So I knew her. Like her name was like common, common in Hispanic households. So of course she won. And then Jimenez is also another one. Buchanan is another one. We got a ton of them here, and I don't know if they get primaried. I don't know if uh, what's going to happen, but they should be primary. They should get their butts
And
kicked because how do you like go to your constituents and lie to them because you ran on a platform, and then when push comes to shove, you lie to them because that's not what you voted for.
yeah,
So,
in my local elections, there were two guys who came from the state senate, which they're the ones who put the gun control in effect and all of that, and they're the ones who've been refusing to do things. I refuse to vote for them, but they won anyway in the primaries. Not enough people know or are aware of what's going on to counteract it. Most people are like the NRA people, like, oh, they're Republicans, okay, I'm going to vote for them.
Yeah.
They don't take the time, like, even, I'm a busy person, but I took the time to say, okay, who's on the ballot? All right, let me look up all these people. Oh, no, that's the dude who did this? Not gonna vote for him.
Absolutely. No, because
right?
It takes too much effort. Yeah.
Yeah, but it takes too much effort for the normal person, and this is how we wind up with all of this. And everyone around me would say that they're gun people and they believe in the Constitution and all of that, but they're not even aware of what these guys are doing, you know? So
I actually spend more time talking about rhinos than I do talking about anti-gun left Democrats, because to me that's a lost cause. You're never gonna get, like, to me it's like the DC Project has their annual, they go to DC and they talk to reps. I'm actually going this year, and I'm both scared and excited. That's coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm like, I don't like my local rep here I live in a super blue county, and she basically ignored my calls, ignored my emails. I'm like, that was gonna be like me talking to a wall. So it's like, I'd rather spend my time going to Salazar, going to Buchanan, going to Jimenez, which I think I might have an opportunity to do, and being like, hey, you lied to your constituents. How do you feel about this? You know, like, I'm not going to come in aggressive like that, obviously, because I want them to listen to me. But I'm still going to be like, this are some stats. Why do you feel this way? How come? Like, how can I get you to view this? And I actually, back in the day, before I found out there was a lot of corruption, down here we had something called like the Republican Hispanic Caucus or something like that, where there was like they got a lot of attention, especially in like South Florida, Miami, like all the representatives that got voted in were part of it that were Hispanic. They basically were super political here, like super big movers and shakers in the political realm. And then I found out they recently had some kind of scandal with money. So I'm glad it didn't work out. But for a while I was going to be like, I'm going to go and I'm going to become a member, because I think a problem with Republicans, like traditional Republicans, is they never talk about the 2A. They don't talk about it enough. They don't put enough stress on it. And I think that we would make more moves in the right direction if we actually, instead of focusing on the people who just like the Shannon Watts of the world, forget it. Shannon Watts is never going to change. Okay, so it's stupid to try to even bother with them. Like, maybe, like, I slowly chip away at people. I've gotten some people who are very anti-gun to, buy their first gun and feel comfortable with guns. But more realistically, I think that we should put in our efforts towards changing the importance of the platform. Like, if Dems have put it all in that they're going to be anti-gun, well then, so be it. It's now a political thing. It's not supposed to be, but it's now a political thing. Then we need to focus our efforts on the Republicans who are not putting enough effort on that topic.
I agree. Didn't Anna Paulina?
Yeah, she just won her Luna.
Anna Paulina Luna. Yeah, she won, right? So she's so she's going to be on the ticket on the Republican side.
Yeah, she was like, this is going to be her second time.
Okay.
She won her first primary a few years ago. Wow, it was more than a few years ago, like 3 years ago, whatever it was, 2 years ago, I don't remember. Yeah. And now she's going again, but I think she's got a good chance now. Yeah. She's very powerful.
We've got to figure out how to help support those folks, and I hope that a lot of those folks out there don't become like conservative Hollywood and only go off to Fox News or whatever to do what they need to do. I get it, you have to go there.
But I feel like she had the opportunity. She got the opportunity. She was really hot in the conservative space after she lost to, I think she lost to Chris last time. So she could have. And I know that she dabbled a little bit in like local media, or like not local media, but like internet media. But she could have run off to, be the next face of Fox News, because she's very beautiful. She's definitely got the face for TV. So, but I feel like she kept in it. She could have taken her 15 minutes of fame and monetized on it, but she came back and she went for round 2. So I really do kind of like, I talk a lot of shit about politicians, okay, on our podcast, but I really feel like, I hope she never lets me down, because I always go back to her and I'm like, this one's like, I believe her when I say that she is one of those people who really truly does believe in this stuff. So
ultimately we gotta have faith, and then it's up to them to uphold their honor.
I'm not fully black-pilled. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that we can still have a little bit of hope that it's not going to be, that we can, resolve this with politics and with, just changing hearts and minds.
Absolutely. Listen, we got to wrap it up here because I know we're way over. And yes, we didn't really get a chance to do any gun stuff. I know that's crazy. I did hold up a gun. I don't
There
know
you
if
go.
you.
It's a pretty gun.
Yeah, I don't know if you even brought any with you or whatever. So.
No. Well,
yeah.
Bolo's got guns everywhere. So
Yeah.
there's my AR-15s over there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's not a necessary thing. Tell the folks out there, how they can see you guys more, communicate with you, follow you on social media.
Absolutely. So we are on the Locked and Loaded Latinos podcast, which is on Sundays at 6 p.m. And we're also part of Geeks and Gamers now. So if you are into video game or geek culture, you can find us usually playing Fortnite, which is kind of sounds crazy, but it's a lot of fun. And we're mostly on Geeks and Gamers Play. So that's kind of cool. And if you want to follow me particularly on Instagram, I am Latina Locked and Loaded. And that's pretty much it. We're pretty sure. I think we're on Twitter. Yeah, I know we're on Twitter. So you can probably find us there if you want to join that cesspool. But yeah, that's it. And locals, rumbles, we're all the same.
Right. Absolutely, man. Whatever. I think Truth Social is the worst. They're constantly blocking my posts.
Really?
Yeah,
Isn't it supposed to be Truth Social? So
no,
I thought that was open.
If I put up for on election day, I put up a picture of a gun and just a sticker that I voted, and they blocked it.
What?
They put a graphic content thing over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Have you checked out Locals? I thought I'm.
Yeah, I'm on Locals.
Yeah,
I'm on Locals.
I just started getting into it. I think I like Locals. I don't know. They haven't done anything, but I haven't posted anything crazy either.
Yeah.
So.
Let me see. Here, I can show you guys. So this is what I put up just for, since we're getting into this right now. This is what I posted, just this picture. I deliberately don't even put words when I do the gun stuff. And this is what Truth Social did.
Truth Social can suck it then. That is
sensitive
ridiculous.
content. They did that immediately when I posted
Truth
that
Social
picture.
Truth Social is a lie then.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. I definitely call bullshit on that. But hey, I'm on there for whoever wants to do whatever for however long that nonsense lasts. But yeah, that's what they're about. And they do that to me all the time. They do it sometimes when I post this show. They do that same thing, sensitive content or whatever. I don't even know. All right, so listen, I'm gonna hit the end button on this, and there's gonna be a roll. We're gonna come back, and you're gonna hit everyone with the words of wisdom. So Let's do that. Let me run in the end. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. This is going to be it for this week. So I'm glad we got some of these extended shows in here, especially since Monday was kind of cut short. So you guys got a little bit of extra sauciness here. Big thanks to Joanna of Latina Locked and Loaded for coming on. Always fun talking to you. I hope that I said enough crazy stuff to you about all the dudes that you like. Rollo's like, damn, now I gotta do a whole bunch of deprogramming after this, but
the only one that I'm like, hell no, is Keanu. That one I will not accept that one.
Yeah, Jen Champ Jr. says, good show, ladies. Laugh out loud. Brick says, good night, all. Leave us with the words of wisdom, Joanna.
Words of wisdom, sure. Whether it's friends or lovers, make sure that whatever your people that you have close to you are people that actually are open-minded and will follow you with your with what you do and your hobbies, because otherwise you're going to be building empty relationships. So make sure you really take heart. It's not just about how hot someone is. Trust me.
Absolutely. So I totally agree with that. 42 Chill says great show. Armsman says great show. Thanks so much. I'm gonna hit the button. Stay right there, Joanna. Let's find all these buttons here and hit them appropriately.